Sir.
ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನು
ಐನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಾಲ್
ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಸಿದ್ದು. ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್.
ಪನ್ನರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ತೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಏನು ಕತೆ? ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. Sub regional conference we should be fully quoted.
He is always smart, sir. Why only today?
ಮಧುಮಗನಾಗಿ ತೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಮಧುಮಗನಾಗಿ.
ಹಾಗೆ
ಮಧುಮಗ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೀವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಮನೇಲೆ ಇದೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನೆಯವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಮದುಮಗ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಯಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು.
ಕಿವಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂತ ಹಾಕಿತ್ತು ನೀವು? ಸೀದಾ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೋರ್ತದ.
Chairman is having some technical.
Okay.
SIRC chairman is having some technical problem.
No, he has joined now. No, he has joined now.
Joined? Yes.
Yeah, joined. Just now joined.
Take over, Vinod.
Okay.
Request everybody to raise.
Wait, sir. ಒಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ.
ಬರ್ಲಿ.
ಸರ್ ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಸರ್. ಸರ್
ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಸರ್. ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್.
ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ಸರ್ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್.
ವಣಕಂ.
Chairman is telling you vanakkam. Chairman sir.
Vanakkam to all of you.
Yes. The request all of you.
But this is Karnataka Rajyotsava month. That's why namaskaraಗಳು.
Hello.
Namaskaram sir. Namaskaram.
Thank you sir.
Vinod, shall we start?
Yeah, we'll start in 1 minute. Yes sir, we can start. Anuswami sir, mute everyone.
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಸರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ
He has to join, Central Council member.
Yes.
I have already called. Maybe he may join late. I think he is busy. You can start off. Message.
Okay, then we'll start.
ಸರ್ wait. ಸರ್ ವಿನೋದ್ ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Okay.
Vina, samkya noda.
A very good evening and warm welcome to all the dignitaries and members from CA fraternity. Wish you all a very happy Dhanteras and happy Deepavali. On the auspicious occasion of Deepavali, we the members are celebrating the festival with sharing and updating the knowledge. The festival of lights will take us out from the darkness and pave the way to the prosperity and our day-to-day practice. Before we proceed our technical sessions, due to COVID, as we all know, Indians have lost around 1,20,000 lives. To mourn their death, we have to keep a silence for 1 minute.
ಭಗವಂತ.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sir.
At the outset, on behalf of SIRC, I heartily welcome Chairman of SIRC, CA Dungarchand Jain, Central Council Member, CA Prasanna Kumar, and convener of the program, and SIRC member, CA Pannaras sir, all the chairmen of the branches, and the speakers, Chinnasamy Ganesan sir, and Anand Prakash, Jangid sir, and all the delegates to the virtual 2 days sub-regional conference hosted by Ballari branch jointly with Hubballi, Kalaburgi, Udupi, Belagavi, Mysore, and Bengaluru branches. The subjects for the day are tax audit documentation and automation tools for SMPs. And the eminent speakers are Chinnasamy Ganesan sir from Chennai. The topic for the second day is reporting requirements with reference to accounting standards, SAP and ICDS. And the speakers for the tomorrow's technical session is CA Guraj Acharya from Bengaluru. The discussion on the above topics will definitely bring good results, very useful and fruitful on the as we are running through the tax audit period and tax audit season. To begin the proceedings, I call upon the chairman of Ballari branch, CA Honur Swami, to welcome the dignitaries and the members. Over to Honur Swami, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Dear professional colleagues, very good evening to all. Deepavali is a symbol of hope for humankind. It brings universal compassion, inner joy of peace, love, and awareness of unity to all. Wishing you and your family a very happy Deepavali. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Managing Committee of Ballari branch to the first sub-regional conference organized by SIRC of ICAI, hosted by Ballari branch, with the support of Hubli, Udupi, Belagavi, Kalaburgi, Bengaluru, and Mysore branches in virtual mode. Atiti Devo Bhava means guest is God. It is part of the code of conduct for Indian culture. For us, guest is equivalent to the God. It's time to invite our guest to this conference. I welcome today's special guest, CA Dungarchand Jain sir, Chairman of SIRC of ICAI, who is here to inaugurate this 2-day sub-regional conference of SIRC of ICAI. Welcome, sir. I welcome today's chief guest, CA Prasanna Kumar sir, Central Council member and Vice Chairman, Committee for Members of Practice, ICAI, who is leading us from the front. We are very grateful to CA Prasanna Kumar sir for accepting our invitation and marking his presence here. Welcome, Prasanna sir. I also welcome convener of this sub-regional conference, CAS Pannaras sir, SIRC member and ex officio of our Ballari branch. Welcome, Pannaras sir.
Thank you.
I welcome CA Pompanna, B sir, Chairman of SICAS of SIRC. Welcome, sir. I welcome speakers for the day, CA Chinnasamy Ganesan sir from Chennai, who speaks on tax audit documentation, and CA Anand Prakash Jangid sir from Bengaluru, who speaks on automation tools for SMPs. Welcome you, sir, both of you. I also have a pleasure to welcoming second day's guests and speakers and panelists. Further, I also welcome the chairmen and managing committee members of Hubli, Udupi, Kalaburgi, Bengaluru and Mysore branches and all the delegates. We miss Bengaluru branch in this conference as they have preoccupied with VCM today. I welcome you all once again and wish you happy learning. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Yes.
the man behind this conference, convener of the program, CA Pannara sir. I call upon him to present his keynote address. Over to Pannara sir.
Good evening, Chairman of SIRC, Sri Dungar Chanchain, and the Central Council member, Kumar sir. He is yet to join. He is held up for some preoccupied program, it seems. He may join any time. And the chairman of the host branch, Mr. Vannur Swami,
Yes, sir.
secretary of the host branch, Mr. Vinod Bagrecha, and the chairman of all the 7 branches who are here today. This Hubli, Belgaum, Udupi, Mangalore,
Manju?
Kalburgi, and
Manju?
Mysore.
Sir, you have to speak little louder.
Yes, sir.
Manju?
Now, somebody is you request them to mute their somebody's voice is coming.
Yes,
Now,
yes, okay.
this is a sub-regional conference. I'll just explain in a minute what is sub-regional conference. Sub-regional conference is a conference conducted by regions. In our case, Southern India region. For each state, yearly one sub-regional conference is conducted per state. So this is a sub-regional conference for Karnataka. And here I wanted every branch of Karnataka to be involved here. Here, except Bangalore branch, which is preoccupied with another VCM, that video virtual conference. We are here. All these 7 branches, representatives of all the 7 branches are here. So I am very thrilled to be part of this program, because it is always difficult to get the speakers for small number of programs. For example, Chinnasamy Ganesan sir is always busy. He is not only a speaker at regional level, he is at national and global level also. He speaks on various topics, and he is an expert on accounting and auditing standards, to be specific. So such speakers we cannot get very frequently, and it will be motivating for them if most of us are together and the numbers are bigger, especially in this virtual mode. So I thought we can join together. And there is a condition in the institute guidelines that a branch with 750 minimum members alone can do sub-regional conference. In that case, if we follow that rule, all the branches in Karnataka except Bengaluru branch will be denied the very opportunity of conducting the sub-regional conference. For the benefit of the members, it is very heartening to present before you that this is the first sub-regional conference to be conducted by Ballari branch. So this is an opportunity which I could get by writing to the HO that by denying the smaller branches, definitely we are not doing justice. So the rule, the guidelines should support the branches, and this, especially the official chartered accountants and practicing chartered accountants in official branches also. So when I wrote to the head office, it was Prasanna Kumar sir who took the initiative and convinced the head office through the vice president, and got it sanctioned for Ballari branch. Actually, in fact, I requested them to amend the guideline so that 750 members together through our 3 branches jointly should be allowed to conduct this program. So in that sense, we are happy that the guideline is amended, or as an exceptional case, this sub-regional conference is awarded to Ballari branch, even though we requested, if not for 1 branch, jointly for 3 branches, for which on behalf of all the small branches and medium branches in Karnataka, I thank the ICI through Prasanna Kumar sir for giving this opportunity. And I wish you all a happy Deepavali today and tomorrow. And many have some reservations that this is a Deepavali day, this is a festival day, so we should not conduct, or this program may please be postponed. But earlier we had only 1 day program on 13th, but Institute again insisted that a sub-regional conference should be minimum of 6 CP hours. So I had to take a call for conducting this program for 2 days tomorrow also, even though it is a Naraka Chaturdasi tomorrow, we have to conduct the program tomorrow also. So in all 2 days, 3 hours each, the program is being conducted. And our chairman, Dungarsen Jain, has always been very helpful to us, and is called a tech-savvy man. And unfortunately, today he is having some technical problems in connecting with us. And by the time I will conclude my opening remarks, you will be settling fully. And this Deepavali is a festival of coming from darkness to light, ignorance to knowledge. So I would quote one of the oldest poets of Kannada. I'll take the pride of speaking 1 or 2 sentences in Kannada because this is a sub-regional conference for Karnataka. So one of the oldest poets, Pampa Mahakavi in Kannada, says, Arivam pasarisuvude dharmam, Arivam adara tadevude adharmam. Dharma means spread of knowledge. So the stopping or obstacles to spread of dharma alone is adharma. That's what he says. So in these festive times, the spread of knowledge has been consistently being done by the CA Institute for 70 years. So we will take a pride on this Deepavali day from darkness of ignorance. We will move towards the light of knowledge. So I think you would all bear with me for taking away some time of tomorrow of Naraka Chaturdashi for this conference. And I believe, I am the one who believe a busy man is one who finds time for all activities, especially for such good activities. So this is a good activity of learning. So we should accommodate ourselves the time slots for this program for tomorrow. And I would quote one more quote from a Kannada poet, professor. He is called Nityotsava Kavi. Professor Nisar Ahmad says that ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಹೃದಯ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಹೃದಯವಂತಿಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. All have hearts, but how many people are hearty people, or what I can say, I cannot exactly explain that, people with a great heart. So normally I believe it is the Chartered Accountants fraternity who are all people with passion and compassion both, because throughout our lives we would have consoled or would have given solutions to the various problems of our clients. So especially the practicing members would have come across so many clients' problems, and with heart also we involve with them. Because of that, we may be punished for not paying the fees immediately. 1 or 2 years they take time to pay the fees also. So we are a fraternity of people with big heart. So I congratulate all of you for allowing us to make this program come true on this day with your big heart. So you would definitely consume these inputs for today and tomorrow with your big heart, and you would not curse us for doing this program during Deepavali time. And another hurdle for this one is all the states are doing this program of sub-regional conference in this month itself. And as you all know, next month we have a big event, and our tech-savvy chairman is doing online the Southern India conference also from 10th to 13th of December. So just ahead of it, we don't want to have any programs which would affect the concentration on the SIRC conference also. So with these words, and also I would quote 2 more lines. What is the importance of this conference, and why this is very important for small and medium practitioners? IFAC, International Federation of Accountants Committee, has recognized the importance of small and medium practitioners, and it is giving extra what is called a push or impetus to the activities of small and medium practitioners across the globe. And we, 92% of the total practitioners are small and medium practitioners. I can say only small practitioners, even not even medium practitioners. So when 92% of us are here, I believe nation means people, not soil. There is a quote in Telugu, Deshamante matti kadai, Deshamante manishulo. Nation means people and not soil. That is the thing, because that is one of the objectives of what is called doing inclusive growth. For inclusive growth, 92% of the small and medium practitioners should be given extra opportunities, should be given extra support, should be given all sorts of seminars or webinars, opportunity to conduct webinars for enriching their knowledge. So it is one such program. And also people's development is the real, inclusive development is the real nation development. Being partners in nation development, we should concentrate on the development of people. Growth alone will not lead to development. Growth can be a means for development, but it cannot be an end in itself, because the income distribution in our country is not very heartening. It is not inclusive for all. I'll give only one statistics on that. During 2017, the total wealth during 2017, latest statistics is not available with us. During 2017, the total wealth that is generated in India, 73% of the wealth generated has gone into the hands of 1% rich people. I repeat, 73% of the wealth, income and wealth created in 2017 has gone to the hands of 1% rich, leaving behind 99% of the population to share only 27% of the income. So this is against the special development goals agreement entered into in 2015 by 193 countries, including India, by United Nations. So that says it should be a planet, people and prosperity should be given the priority. So distribution of income equally is the top priority in that agenda also, for which India is also a signatory. And by 2030, we should achieve all the 17 objectives that are set by the United Nations. And another very important factor for this conference is recently World Economic Forum has conducted a study and presented a report in June this year that there are 20 professions which will prosper after this pandemic and this slowdown. And equally important is there are 18 professions which are having declines, sharp decline in their demand. And in that 18 declining demand professions, chartered accountancy profession stands in the 4th position. So we are in the red. So we have to take a call, we have to tighten our belts and sharpen ourselves to come up faster and catch up to the needs of change, so that we have to surpass, or we have to transcend beyond the traditional practices of income tax and GST alone, and go to the newer areas to expand the professional opportunities. We have to run to keep in the same position. So it is a very difficult time for us. So the Institute and SIRC are with you to enlighten you on the newer areas of profession in these difficult times. And regarding the subjects that are taken for today and tomorrow, it's only to strengthen the chartered accountants or practicing members in the official areas of Karnataka, small and medium practitioners across the south. There is nothing to what is called discard the members at Bengaluru. In Bengaluru also there are small and medium practitioners, because they also form 92% of the population. Recently, on 6th and 7th of this month only, November, ICAI ICI conducted 2 days program on commonly found errors and mistakes in financial reporting. There, I was shocked to see the number of mistakes that we are committing. Unless we come back from that, we are susceptible.
Mute Ashwin Chopra, sir. Host, please mute Ashwin Chopra.
We are prone to disciplinary proceedings for not following the guidelines of the accounting standards, auditing standards, reporting, be it a corporate reporting, be it a non-corporate reporting entities reporting. So in these code of ethics, as a chairman of that code of ethics committee of SIRC, it is my duty to enlighten you that from 1st of July, you all know, 1st of July, it has become mandatory that we follow all the guidance that are there, and the accounting standards compliance and the compliance in the area of auditing standards. There is a lot of things to be done, and we are lagging behind, behind. So we have to gear up ourselves to equip technically and equally reporting matters also. And additional challenge for us is this faceless assessments under Income Tax Act. So the documents should speak, our language should speak, our compliance should speak for ourselves and for our professional quality. And the errors that were identified and discussed on 6th and 7th are the what's called a cautioning thing for today's program. And hence we have chosen the topics of the documentation for tax audit. This is the tax audit season, and we have an eminent speaker in Chinnasamy Ganesan sir to enlighten us. If we do not keep our documents perfectly, what are the challenges we are going to face in the days to come when there are disciplinary proceedings against us, or the income tax proceedings or non-compliance notices when they are there. And for that we should be, especially when faceless assessments are there, error is there, we should be equipped ourselves with the advanced tools to equip ourselves and do the things more perfectly, for which there will be another speaker today, the second speaker, Mr. Anand Prakash Jangid, who will be speaking on automation tools for small and medium practitioners. So small and medium practitioners, with the help of small and medium and MSMEs, we should be able to add to the what's called a growth, add to the nation's growth by bringing the growth to the progress trajectory. So in the same line, tomorrow we have Gurraj Acharya, who will be speaking on the reporting requirements, do's and don'ts in reporting for both corporate and non-corporate entities with respect to accounting and auditing standards, as well as ICDS. And for the first time, for the benefit of the members, I am telling you, for the first time, tomorrow the presentation will be with the model drafts of the reporting system with the templates. We will be speaking on how the drafting should be there for each accounting standard, each auditing standard, and each ICDS standards. So it will be very, very beneficial and very, very important for us to follow these standards in the immediate future. From it is already time is over for us to be lenient in compliance matters. So without affecting ourselves with the disciplinary proceedings or any negative factors in the future, we should be doubly cautious to see that we are equipped with the documentation as well as reporting matters with the help of better tools of technology. With these words, I thank you very much as convener, the chairman SIRC, for giving this opportunity to Ballari branch, and also Prasanna Kumar sir for giving this opportunity to this branch. And it is not only Ballari branch, we are together having this program. So all the 7 branches other than Bangalore are participating in this. I don't know whether chairman was there when we talked about Bangalore branch. Chairman Saab, Bengaluru branch alone is not there here because they have a parallel program today. So it is in the true sense a state program, a Karnataka state program. We'll be very happy if you have a very happy learning and Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Happy Deepavali once again. Thank you for giving this opportunity to give the keynote address. Thank you very much, Chairman. Over to you.
Thank you, Ballari sir. Ballari sir has a very vast knowledge on various fields and various economy, various cautions he has. Definitely, it is a boost to all of us, which will give us more energy to work harder. It's my privilege now to call upon the top authority of SIRC, Chairman of SIRC, CA Dungarchand Jain. I request him to present his inaugural address, sir.
And also inaugurate, sir. I request you to inaugurate.
Inaugurate the program and give his address.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Vinodji.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Chairman of Ballari branch, Sri Chinnasamy sir, and all the chairman of the respective 7 branches which have joined, and my colleague in the regional council, the senior-most not only in SARC, senior-most among all the regions, CA Pannaraj sir, and other my professional colleagues in the council, CA Geeta and CA Pampana. A very warm evening to all of you. In fact, at this outset, I would also like to thank CA Prasanna sir, who understands the difficulties of the branches very well, and whenever there is a disconnect as to what should happen and what is happening, he is able to kind of help us out. And I remember Pannaraj sir speaking that I was struggling with technology. So technology has its advantages and disadvantages. But I always tell, technology will never do mistakes, it will do blunders. So what happened today, already there was some login and I was trying to log in second and it did not happen. But I always believe in a backup plan. So I was constantly listening to all of you when the program was going on till I got settled very comfortably. So it is during difficult time of Corona, where we were seeing a lot of new normals, we found that the best of the things have come in the terms of adversities only. And the best example is usage of technology. What would have taken few years for us to implement, today we were able to implement at one go. And the best example what I could see was what happened during the bank audits. We were able to actually complete the bank audits with the most minimal visits. It was probably everybody would have visited a half day, 1 day or 2 days, and we were able to complete it without compromising on the quality. So that is the message which the adversity gives, and Corona has given us that message, and we have all taken that in the right way, and we have decided that it is not going to stop us what we have to do. And there is a nice quote I remember which goes on to say that in decades nothing happens, and in weeks decade happen. So this is the effect of all these adversities around us which has brought the best in us. And SARC in its true form, both in spirit and the rule, we are trying to use technology wherever possible. Also share the knowledge to all the members on the relevant and contemporary topics. We decided that this time, whatever topics we give should directly benefit the members rather than having the sake of program for the sake of having a program. And we have also chosen to have programs on code of ethics, standards on auditing, though that institute has made mandatory. It was not that since institute has made mandatory, we did it. We said let us have a series of nice programs so that it benefits members. And today's topic, both the technology and the documentation which our beloved speaker CA Chinnasamy Ganesan is going to carve, is very dear to my heart. And I always tell, the standards on auditing or the documentation which has to be done, they are just not the subject for your CA final where you study and forget. These are the Bhagavad Gita or Bible or Quran. So we have to kind of see that we, whenever we are in a difficulty as to how to take it forward, it is these standards on auditing and the relevant documents, the auditing pronouncements which will help you how to take things forward. And also you don't get on the wrong hands with DC. Here DC, I mean disciplinary committee. So the sub-regional conference is a wonderful opportunity apart from RRCs, where it idea was to have it region-wise. I would have loved to be in Ballari today physically to meet all of you, but nevertheless, it is not possible today. I'm just waiting for the next opportunity when it happens. I still remember I gave the dates in the month of April that, sir, on so and so date I'm coming, we'll all meet up. But God has some other plans. Probably I always believe God always has the best plans. So today, if you see, there are a lot of other benefits which we are able to arrive because of this. On a normal day where we used to in SIRC get 50 members, 100 members, today every program we are getting 300, 400 members. And today your own program is a live example to that. And I always request and appeal to everybody to follow ICAI very closely. The first ICAI is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And then second ICAI, the new acronym which we have given in the last couple of months in our newsletter, where the I stands for independence, C stands for code of ethics, the A stands for auditing pronouncements, including your standards of auditing and your accounting standards. The last I stands for integrity. Not because ICAI is wanting us to do, we have to follow the rules or we have to maintain code of ethics. I think it is something which is imbibed in us, and this is only a small guidance for us to see that we apparently do not commit any mistakes. And I always tell, whenever you are in doubt, please stay away. Sir, should I take this assignment or not? I tell people that if you are having a smallest iota of doubt, please refuse that, or you want to take a chance. And wherever possible, to try to give a broader meaning to things which are possible. And on the institute activities, I would like to tell that institute has come with a wonderful plan of We Care, where they are going to take care of members beyond 75 years. Many a time we have seen that they are stranded or they are not getting proper guidance or proper assistance or help, not in just terms of finance, but in all terms, including emotional terms. So Institute has come with a nice plan, and I will request all the managing committee members to kind of support this initiative and see that the objective of this ICAI is reached. And on the other activities of SIRC, SIRC has been conducting coaching classes in a very successful way. When pandemic came, we switched off to virtual mode, and today we could see students of other than Chennai are able to take benefit of this. And then thirdly, we saw there were a lot of grievances which members had and they were getting stuck. So we opened one grievance week. We called it Address to Redress, and we were able to resolve most of the issues which members have brought to our knowledge. We are not guaranteeing that we'll resolve it tomorrow itself, but we could understand the difficulties of the members, put it to the proper person, because in SSP, many of the activities are happening in Mumbai and Kanpur, and they are not happening in Chennai. So through us, it was easy for us to connect to those other regions to see to that whatever members and students were facing any difficulties, those were taken care. And the last important thing is the CA exams. There are a lot of calls last few days, sir, whether exams will happen, how it will happen, whether rules will be followed, blah, blah, blah. Friends, let me assure you and tell you, ICAI is completely equipped to see that the exams happen in a very, very smooth way, to see that the students are benefited. And if any student feels, sir, I have difficulty or I don't want to take a chance, Institute has very much given an option for them to opt out and take the forthcoming exam. So very well, all the options which can comfort a student that is being made available by ICAI. And I request pass for if there is any difficulty which the student is facing or exam center is facing, you can bring to the notice of the managing committee members of the branch, or through the regional council members, or even directly central council members, anybody whomsoever you are comfortable. And then the very last is, I take this opportunity to invite you all to the 52nd regional conference of SIRC of ICAI. I would have loved you all to have you at Madurai, but as I said earlier, things are a little different, so we'll have to play it different. So the idea is to give all the benefits of the physical program, whatever you are enjoying it, through a virtual mode. I did give a small demo to all the chairmen of the branches. They'll pass on the information to you. We have seen that whatever you are enjoying in a physical program, you'll be able to enjoy. Only thing is, we won't be able to provide the flavor of Madurai, the idli, chutney and other things. That will not be possible for us to give it there. But barring that, we assure you, whether it is in terms of knowledge or in terms of a smooth experience or a different experience, you will be definitely having the conference. I request everybody to register at the earliest, so that we will be able to write to ICAI to increase the numbers. Right now, there is a ceiling of 2,500 numbers, and that is the reason for us. The cost has been turned out to be little more, and another reason why the cost is little more is we want to see that we don't kind of are at the mercy of the sponsors. During Corona time, it is going to be little difficult. Nevertheless, we are going to look for sponsorships, and whatever comes through sponsorships will be indirectly passed on to the members. We will see to it that something is better. Institute or SIRC will not make any profit out of this SIRC conference. That is the personal assurance I can give it to all of you. So with these few words, I welcome you all for this sub-regional conference, for this excellent knowledge dissemination, where the excellent sessions are lined up, and I'm very happy to inaugurate this conference. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inaugurating the conference, and we were very happy to hear your words from after so many days. It was very pleasure, and we're very happy to see the initiatives of the CA Institute, sir. Thank you, sir. The chief guest of the today's program, CA Prasanna Kumar, sir, is held up somewhere. So today he is busy and not able to attend the today's program. So here we end the inaugural session, and I call upon Subhash Patil, sir, chairman of Hubballi branch, to propose vote of thanks. Over to Subhash Patil, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, all the members. I, Subhash Patil, chairman of Hubballi branch. On behalf of all the 6 branches and host branch, Ballari branch, I thank today's guest and inaugurated this seminar, CA Dungarchand Jain, chairman of SIRC, for accepting our invitation and do the honors for the members. And I thank CA Prasanna Kumar, another guest, Central Council member, who was unable to attend this function, but thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And CA Pampana BE, SIRC member, and CA Chinnasamy Ganesan, who will be present his paper after this inaugural session, and CA Anand Prakash, and he is also present the paper after the inauguration session in second session. And I thank coordinator of this conference, CA Panaraj sir, who is a guide for all of us and who is a mentor and behind person to this conference. Because of him, we have all the 6 branches accepted this invitation. And so the Ballari branch, thank you very much, sir. And I thank CA Vannur Swami, chairman of Ballari branch, for giving me this opportunity to joining hands and giving the vote of thanks, Anand. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Subhash Patil, sir. Now, straight away, we move to the first technical session, tax audit documentation. I call upon chairman of Udupi branch, CA Pradeep Jogi, to introduce the speaker of the session, CA Chinnasamy Ganesan. Over to Pradeep Jogi, sir.
Thank you, Vinod, sir. Chairman of SIRC of ICAI, CA Dungarchand Jain, the convener of this sub-regional conference, CA Pandaraj sir, CA Gita madam, CA Pampana BE, the chairman of Ballari branch of SIRC of ICAI, CA K. Vannur Swami, Secretary Vinod sir, all the chairmen of the branches of Karnataka, speakers of the branch, speakers and all the members. Good afternoon and a happy Deepavali to everyone. As you all know, documentation is considered the backbone of an audit. The work that the auditor performs, the explanations given to the auditor, the conclusions arrived at are all evidenced by documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce an eminent speaker of the first technical session, CA Chinnasamy Ganesan. CA Chinnasamy Ganesan sir started his practice as chartered accountant in 1988. He was in personal practice till 2005. He then served as a director in Livelock and Lives for 6 years. As a partner in BSR & Co. LLP for 6 years in audit practice. He was the lead partner of many Indian and multinational companies and carried out audits, advisory on international financial reporting, taxation, due diligence, and other assurance services. He is presently the Senior Partner and Head of Audit and Assurance of Messrs. CNGSN and Associates LLP, Chennai, a firm with 10 partners and around 120 team members. Ganesan sir specializes in financial reporting, company law matters, audit and taxation, and is a recipient of the Jewel of India Award for his role in financial services and also Certificate of Excellence for his contribution in the field of financial services by International Business Council. Ganesan sir has already presented 875 plus papers at various seminars, workshops, and conferences both in India and overseas. He has assisted 68 plus companies on NDAS transitions. He has also authored a quick referencer on IFRS with the model of Q&A, the revised Schedule 6 Ready Reckoner, NDAS quick referencer, and Ready Reckoner for financial statement under Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013. Ganesan sir is also associated with many chambers of commerce, CII, FICCI, etc., and also with universities. The Ganesan sir is also is in advising many boards of Indian and multinational companies and is presently an independent director in board of directors of Railtel Corporations of India Limited, a mini Ratna public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Railways. He is presently a co-opted member of the Executive Committee of the Institute of Directors, Chennai, the Board of Studies of the Department of Commerce of the University of Madras, the Board of Studies of Department of Commerce of Tyagaraja College, Madurai. With this, I introduce before you CA Chinnasamy Ganesan sir. Over to Vinod sir.
Thank you, Pradeep Jogi sir, for introducing the vibrant speaker Chinnasamy Ganesan sir. Now I request CA Chinnasamy Ganesan to take over the proceedings, sir. Chinnasamy sir.
Ganesan sir, you'll have to unmute and tell us the secret how you are getting younger day by day.
See, actually, we used to say that the company secrets should not be revealed. So, but because the first person of the region is asking for, I just completed 57 years and entered 58 in September 15. So I'm running my 58 of my age, but the youngerness is actually coming because of people like you and my friends like our chairman, Ballari sir, Prasanna Kumar sir. All those people are giving the required vibration, energy, and enthusiasm by their friendship. That is what actually keeping me young. In fact, 2-3 weeks back, I was actually a little down with the health issues, but not related to COVID. But it has made me to look little aged, but not like as charming as like our chairman of SIRC. In fact, I wanted to ask him separately after the session, what is happening in the last 2 months or 3 months? You are so shining and looking very young. So he will share that maybe only to me, not for anybody else, I believe. So first of all, my sincere thanks to the all the chairmen of the various branches who came together to make this sub-regional conference in the state of Karnataka to happen. In fact, when I was looking for the number of branches who are joined together, you said it's 7. 7 in number, even in life it is connected. For example, in the marriages, the mantra which we are talking about is Saptapadi. So you take 7 steps to enter into your bonding as a married couple. So similarly, in a knowledge-seeking session, you are bonding with the 7 branches of the Karnataka state joining together and sharing the knowledge. And the chairman of SIRC inaugurating that session itself shows that we are almost celebrating a marriage just before Diwali, and we will continue to celebrate for the second time also second day also after the marriage is happening. In fact, I'm not sure, some of you may be Freemasons. I'm a Freemason actually. In Freemason, we used to say 7 members make a perfect lodge. So 7 is another important number to say that you can be perfect if 7 members are joining together. So 7 branches joining together make this as a perfect combination of knowledge sharing, creating a bonding. And I will be very, very happy to be part of this for today and also for tomorrow, because tomorrow we don't have any other work other than to take our bath, take sleeps, and then only to sleep or sit before the idiot box, rather than I will actually sit for understanding the knowledge sharing. So,
sir, one more addition to your 7, sir. The color white light.
So the rainbow is also has that 7 colors, and that is also another factual position. Thank you, Ballari sir, for giving that input. So friends, when Ballari sir always calls me, I was a little worried because he normally throws challenges to me with respect to the topic. If he asks me to talk on tax audit, very simple for me. I will take class by class, share my experiences. But he has put the googly by saying that you have to talk on audit documentation for tax audit. So when you are looking into that type of situation, how you can actually look into, especially when the members are in SME practice, not big firms, but small firms or medium-sized firms which are serving the SME clients, what type of audit documentation we can maintain with respect to tax audit is a normal challenge which we will be having. And he has pointed out several instances when we were sharing together a room in Ballari. He was actually sharing together what are all the issues which is coming to SME practitioners when they are meeting the disciplinary proceedings. Just because they have done all the work, but they are not able to demonstrate, they are getting into some sort of trap. And that is the reason why he always says that, sir, we should always concentrate on documentation, auditing standard, and other aspects of the compliance requirement. That is exactly is what our chairman is also mentioning. There is a lot of efforts which is being made and making it mandatory to learn our code of conduct and also the auditing standards using which you will be doing your audit. So now, coming to the audit documentation, I will start sharing my presentation. And what I have also planned is to give you some sort of flavor on another request normally comes from our senior most member and my good friend Ballari sir. You are able to see the screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He always wanted to have the members to be equipped, especially the branches who are dealing with the small and medium enterprises, and the practice is also mostly concentrating on direct and indirect taxes. He normally suggests, sir, with your best practices, whatever you are using as a template, whatever you are using as a documentation tool, or whatever you are using as the format of the specific work, if possible you share. I always believe that knowledge is only for sharing, and to that extent today I have shared somewhat around 5 specimens which we are using for all our clients, whether it is a big client or a small client or a partnership client. For example, I have shared a specimen of Form 3CA. What are all the things which has to go into the Form 3CA, even though we are filling the electronic Form 3CA when we are filing our tax audit report. Similarly, I have shared Form 3CD in Excel format with lot of annexures, because one of the question which is normally being raised, or one of the comment which is normally being coming, is with respect to the audit quality on tax audit. in the audit quality on tax audit, what normally being commented is that the auditors normally fills the various columns, yes, no, not applicable type of thing. And they are doing so many tax audit and quality is being compromised. And when the quality is compromised and your work is not properly documented, you will get into all other problems before the regulators, reviewers, etc. So what I have done is I have prepared a Form 3 CD with various information which has to be filled for each of the classes, and what type of annexures to support each of the classes also I have shared in the same file. It's an Excel file. So the flow of the Excel file you can actually see. That is a second thing which I have shared. And the third one which I have actually shared is what is the accounting policy to be disclosed in respect of an SME when you are doing a tax audit. And of course, I understand that it will be touched by even my friend Guru Raj Acharya tomorrow when he is talking about accounting standard and ICDS. So to that extent, I will not talk more on ICDS. But what is the requirement of disclosure of accounting policy? I have shared one specific template. And again, I have shared another two templates. One is what is the quantification you have to do in accordance with the requirement of ICDS and put it in the tax audit, and what should be the related documentation which you have to have. That is the next one which I have actually done. What type of disclosures and presentation you have to make. So this 5, along with the background of this particular presentation, background material of this particular presentation is also shared. One more last one which I have shared is a complete audit program for tax audit. That means, suppose if you wanted to give some sort of guidance for your new member in your audit team, you have to simply give the audit documentation. You have to simply give your audit program file to your staff, even if it's a first year article. For example, there is a class called name of the assessee. From where you have to pick up the name of the assessee, how you can validate the name of the assessee, how you will put that. We have told what are all the audit procedure which you have to do. If you are documenting those audit procedure, that is the audit documentation which you are supposed to keep. So that audit documentation is not very big audit documentation. Hardly it will be 10 to 12 pages which you can accommodate, and that will help you in any review and also to maintain the quality and the efficient manner in which you can conduct the audit. With this brief, let me just take you through the slides, and within the allotted time, let me try to complete, because 6:30 I am supposed to give this session to the next speaker. Accordingly, 1 hour is available to us. 45 to 50 minutes, I will try to explain the content. And then after that, we will take questions. You can post your questions, and then with the help of the host, I will take the questions and answer within the time which is available for me to deliver. First of all, the legal framework which we are talking about. One request, any member who is joining, please mute yourself. For example, Anusha, please mute your audio. Thank you. So the legal framework which we are looking for is, there is a legal framework. Section 271J says that if you are abetment to some sort of misreporting or underreporting, you are also supposed to pay a penalty under Section 271J. This is one framework which is coming into under the income tax officer. And the second one important thing which is coming in is from Standards on Auditing 230, which is audit documentation. If you read the entire standard, the crux says only one: if there is no documentation, it is presumed that no work was performed by the auditors. But if you see, in practical scenario, we might have done completely the entire work with quality, because we know the client's business. We know how we have done the audit. The client is not new to us. We know pretty well where the issues will be, and we know pretty well what type of reporting should be done for tax audit. We have all this together with us. But unfortunately, one of the problems which we are facing in SME practice is that we do not document the work which we have performed. And if you don't have a documentation, the standard 230 says it is presumed that the auditor has not done any work. The moment I conclude that you have not done any work, what is the impact? You will be considered as completed the work with professional knowledge. Sir Basavaraja sir, please mute yourself, sir. So, if this is the situation, or this is what your auditing standard requires, naturally we have to worry about the audit documentation. When we are talking about the audit documentation, we should also consider one more aspect of the code of conduct, another important consideration, because the format of audit report normally follows from SA 700. It always goes from SA 700. If you see the old Form 3CB and 3CA, which we are using in tax audit as of now, the format is actually picked up from the old SA 700. Accordingly, we will be having a time within which the entire Form 3CA and 3CB will be aligned according to the requirement or format of SA 700. Having said that, whether the audit report 3CA and 3CB can only be limited to what is given in the electronic form, or it should contain the contents of SA 700. Actually, if you see the guidance note on tax audit, it says it should be in accordance with SA 700. So wherever is possible, you have to incorporate those paragraphs. That is the way in which I have actually put that paragraphs and shared you a specimen audit report in 3CA and 3CB. You may ask a question, sir, how I can incorporate that particular form in my electronic filing of tax audit report? One thing which we normally follow is that we prepare this manually, and we also prepare the extensive Form 3CD along with all the annexures in manual form, take a printout, sign it, get the signature of the client in Form 3CD along with our signature, make it as a PDF format, upload that along with the tax audit report as part of the other reports. And when we are having the electronic form of Form 3CA or Form 3CB, which we are filing, we say this has to be, there is a column for subject to our comments below, right? In that box, we say that this report should be read along with the various comments and remarks given in our signed Form 3CD and Form 3CA filed along with this as under other reports. So we are giving a cross reference to this, and any person or any officer who is reviewing cannot say I have not looked into that, because we are saying this electronic form is subject to that. So to that extent, we take care of the audit documentation required as per SA 700, and at the same time, whatever comments or remarks which we can put, we can also put in accordance with the technical guide issued for ICDS as well as the implementation guidance for the tax audit, which has been issued by the institute. Both are taken together. Another thing is actually the peer review related matters, because stage 3 covers the tax audit assignments also. Whenever we are doing a peer review for another practitioner, minimum some of the tax audit assignment should be picked up, and we have to see whether they are maintaining the audit documentation. If you are looking for a peer review certificate and your audit documentation relating to tax audit is not proper, you will not be able to get your peer review certificate. So that is also an issue which we have to see. And there are a lot of increasing litigation. Leave apart the number of tax audit which somebody is signing. Now that has been completely being monitored because of the UDIN. The other cases are the quality of the tax audit report. There is a separate publication which has been brought out which shows what is the quality related issues on tax audit by the institute. And you can also look into that so that you will have very easily understand what is the reason. Why documentation is critical. Even in tax audit, even though Form 3CD says, we are saying that the particulars given in Form 3CD is true and correct. Is it possible for an auditor to give absolute assurance, saying that everything is true and correct? Because the volume of transaction which the auditor handles in respect of the clients. For example, two clauses which I normally have a problem. The first problem which I have is with respect to the GST related disclosure, where it says what is the opening input credit and what is the credit availed and how the credit has been utilized and how it is reflected in the accounts, what is the closing balance. Naturally, I have to almost dependent on doing a GST audit type of thing, yes, accepting that whether there is a mismatch with, or maybe I should say, whether I have missed anything to take input credit or I have taken a wrong credit. But the opening and closing balances has to be tallied, including the transactions during the year. That is talking about what is the credit availed and how it has been utilized, how it is reflected in the books of accounts. So that is one of the clause where I find it really a lot of work has to be performed. It is very difficult for the auditor to do 100% checking unless the client is a very small proprietary unit. The second area where we normally stuck up is identifying and reporting on the clause relating to 43B. This is another area where we normally make an error because of improper documentation which we maintain. The third area, that is a very complex area, and I should say that majority of our audit time for tax audit will go into that, is relating to your TDS compliance. So 17B read with 40A 1A of the Income Tax Act, where you are supposed to disclose what is the disallowances to be made for non-deduction of TDS, or maybe for deduction of TDS but not remitted within the time allowed as per the chapter. So for that, I'm supposed to look into the entire transaction which has been recorded to see whether these transactions are subjected to TDS, and if so, what is the percentage, whether it has been properly deducted, there is a short deduction or there is a non-deduction, and whether it is being matched with the actual payment which has been made. In those circumstances, it may be very difficult for me to do 100% audit. That's the reason why, it is not my words, believe me friends, that's the reason why the guidance note on tax audit issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India tells that the auditor conducts an audit, including a tax audit, based on the standards on auditing, which inter alia is talking about use of test checks and the concept of materiality. So that means I'm allowed to do test check to say, because of the test check which I have performed, because of the materiality which I have fixed, whatever is given in Form 3CD is not materially misstated. That is what we are trying to bring in the format which I have shared. And of course, in respect of Form 3CD, we are commenting saying that it is true and correct, but subjected to a test of test checks which are being done for various items, including what we are talking about in respect of the materiality concept. Another thing could be, as you may identify, 269SS and 269T. There also there is a volume of transaction which we have to monitor, and especially when respect of 269T, where you are saying 2 lakhs and above transactions combined together, whether cash payments has been made or cash payments have been received, you have a lot of issues which you have to take care in respect of that. So how this can be done? Because it is not a conclusive evidence which I am taking. I am only getting a persuasive evidence that nothing is going to be wrong. And I use my judgment using my test checks, unless I say on what basis I have done the test checks, how I have selected my samples, etc., is to be properly documented, is what the standards on auditing is talking about. In fact, if you see, the expectation says A good audit documentation is that a reviewer, without previous knowledge of the client, should reach the same conclusion by reviewing the documentation alone, that is the work papers of the auditor alone, without having any verbal communication, asking them to explain what you are trying to say, etc. Without any verbal communication, I should reach the same conclusion of the auditor. That is what the expectation of the standards on auditing. But in reality, what happens is a detailed and complete work has been performed by, unfortunately, either no documentation is available or proper documentation is not available, as rightly pointed out in the introduction session by the chairman of who has introduced me, my friend. I have seen that the problem is how your audit has been conducted and how you have reached the conclusion. What forms part of your audit report is always a challenge because of your improper or insufficient documentation. As I am repeating again, if there is no documentation, the standard says that the auditor has not done any work. It's presumed, and you have to rebut in a court of law or in any reviewers forum or in any litigation that you have performed it and it is not documented, and these are all the evidences. But how long it will be accepted, how far it will be accepted is the biggest question mark. Now, whenever we are talking about the audit documentation is supposed to be in the planning stage, performing stage, and completion stage. These are all theory. So I will just take you into some immediate requirement which you have to minimum document it. One is you should have a engagement letter for every tax audit, even if it is a repeated assignment year on year. The requirement is that you should have a audit engagement letter. A simple one-page engagement letter is also fine, but you can also specify what is your responsibility and what is the management responsibility. So the guidance note on tax audit actually gives the audit engagement letter format also. You can actually have a look at that. And what are all the laws and regulations relating to this particular company is another consideration, or the firm or partnership which you are auditing has an impact that may relate to a biggest impact. For example, there is one clause in which we are saying, is there any fine, penalty for violation of any law? So there we have to be a little cautious how we are going to do that, which law is applicable to the company. So minimum requirement of understanding what are the laws and regulations which are pertaining to this particular assessing is important. And of course, planning and audit, tax audit, we know how to do it. And the various classes, you can create a checklist and say that this is the way in which it has to be done, who will be assigned for this job, etc. And as I've mentioned that materiality, you can fix it up. And of course, materiality is a vast subject. So if it is not materially misstated, nobody is worried, even the income tax officer. For example, if a company is, our company are assessing in non-corporate sector, is filing its return of income along with the tax audit report, and in the computation of the total income, there is the total income reported is, say for example 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs, and there is an error of only 5,000 rupees. Whether the income tax officer will be worried about it? No. So that to that extent, the materiality plays a part even in making the discussion, even though Form 3CD says it's true and correct. Okay. So then on the execution side, you are collecting so many audit evidences which you can actually look into. When I'm saying that I have given you an audit program, how to collect the audit evidence related to each and every class which we are having. For entire 44 classes, I have actually given where to collect and what audit evidences you have to collect. You can actually refer to that as well. And then sometimes confirmation of balances are important. If it is a company worry too much about the confirmation of balances, if you are talking about a proprietary unit or you are worried about auditing a partnership firm, in that cases, you can even have an indirect confirmations for banks and debtors and creditors to ensure that whatever value which has been stated in the balance sheet is actually true and fair view, because when we are doing an audit of a non-corporate entity, we are giving our audit report based on Form 3CB. In Form 3CB, we are saying that the balance sheet shows a true and fair view of the state of affairs. The profit and loss account shows a true and fair view of the profit or loss for the year. Okay, to that extent, you have to ensure that whatever is disclosed is fairly presented. When we are talking about that, this is one tool we normally use, but we don't know this is what the standard is saying. It's called analytical procedure. What do you mean by analytical procedure? We simply compare the current year number with the previous year number and try to understand whether there is any big variation compared to the previous year. If there is a big variation, we identify those accounts and deep dive into those accounts to understand whether there is any reason which is acceptable or there is something which is unreasonable or results in some sort of disclosure to be made in Form 3CD. So all those things will automatically come out of doing this analytical procedure. But we are doing this, but only thing which we are not doing is we are not documenting. Okay, so that is another point. Audit sampling. Whenever you are doing an audit, you can do audit sampling. Even the guidance note says for Chapter 17B, we have verified the compliance with respect to the requirement of tax to be deducted and remitted in accordance with Chapter 17B. We have tested based on the standards on auditing, which inter alia uses the test check and concept of materiality. Based on such procedure conducted, this is what exactly is the word given in the guidance note. Based on such procedure conducted, we have not come across any material deviation from the procedures, from the amount to be disclosed under this clause. That is, Institute is suggesting this. Why should we do 100% verification to ensure each and every pie has been tallied? Okay, put that disclaimer and then carry out your audit and keep the documentation on what basis you have actually verified this TDS verification. For example, when we are doing a TDS verification, what we do is we take the entire P&L account items and then mark it whether this item will be covered by TDS. For example, purchases may not covered, but the carriage inwards may get covered. So we will mark for each items in the trial balance whether this item will get covered. That's the first exercise in the Excel format. And the second one which we will do is, out of this, what is the amount relating to material where no TDS deduction is required? We will put that number, and the balance automatically is nothing but the amounts to be subjected to TDS. On that also, there are exempted items could be possible. For example, if the payment has been made to a particular contractor under 194C, but the amount is less than the threshold limit given in 194C, that aggregate will be shown in that, and the balance will be what is the amount on which TDS has to be deducted. This amount should be reconciled with your Form 24Q, 27Q, or whatever quarterly returns which you are filing, and that reconciliation will be forming part of your disclosure under Form 3CD. Okay, so there you can actually do a audit sampling and use that when you are reporting under the clause relating to Chapter 17B. That is what the Institute also suggests you to do that when you are reporting under Clause 34 on TDS related matter. From that, it also has an interconnect with 40A1A for the disallowance of the amount for which TDS is either not deducted or deducted but not remitted within that time limit. Okay, so that also you can have. During the execution, related party transactions has to be validated because you have a separate requirement to disclose, and how you have identified a related party. That is an important challenge. For example, I will share one experience. We have done a tax audit of a client last year, and we have not considered one particular party as a related party in the last year based on our assessment of whether it's a related party or not. During this period, what we have identified is very interesting. The entity has been taken over by the by one party, and that party who has taken over has a connect with the company. So previously it is a normal supplier. Now it is a company or an entity. Actually, it is an entity which is in which one of the partner is interested. So naturally it becomes a related party transaction. So every year, it is not a standard copy paste of the previous year's related party. We should always keep a documentation showing that what is the list of related parties according to the client. We ask them to give a list of the related party and the list of the related party transactions. And from that, whether the analysis of the accounts, opening balance, current year transactions, payments made, closing balance, whether that has been reconciled for each of the related parties, so that when you have 48(2)B, the transactions are get captured there. Similarly, when you are talking about anything relating to, say, for example, subsequent event which happening, and it has an impact on the numbers. For example, when I am talking about inventory valuation, whether I have to reduce the inventory to the net realizable value, subsequent events may allow me to give some sort of idea. So have we tested the subsequent event? Have we tested the subsequent event to ensure that is there any provision is required to be made in the previous year? That should also be documented properly. And an expert work will also be used. For example, in every company or every partnership firm, if they are covered by Payment of Gratuity Act, we have to necessarily take an actuarial valuation, and that actuarial valuation report we are depending on the work of an expert. So when documenting the reliance on the work of an expert, SA 620 says how you have relied on the competency or qualification of the expert, how you have tested, and how you have tested that the expert is independent of the assessee. So suppose a relative of the assessee is giving an actuarial report, whether it can be relied upon. So this aspect you are checking by means of validating who is appointed as the actuary and is there any connection with the client with that actuary. And the third important is what is the data which you have provided for the actuary to make the valuation, whether that number is matching with actual financial statement data. For example, what is the name of the employee, what is the last withdrawn salary, and what is their date of birth. These are all the information which is normally given to the actuary. But these informations are flowing from the records of the client itself. If there is a mistake here, the valuation which has been done by the actuary will also undergo a dramatic change. So accordingly, have we validated the base data given to the actuary? You have to record as per SA 620. And when you are coming to the completion stage, letter of representation is required. But believe me, friends, letter of representation alone will not relieve you of your responsibility. Because I have seen from some of the letter of representation, right from clause 1 to clause 44, they got a representation from the client. We have verified, we confirm that this is the information. So if that is the case, are we doing any audit? Because we are giving an assurance that we have the financial statements are fairly presented. Okay. When we are doing an audit, taking a representation is only on judgmental area. Please listen, please understand this particular point. Letter of representation will help you only to defend your case if that particular area is a judgmental area or a technical area where you are not competent to do that technical assessment. For example, actuarial valuation you are getting from somebody else. When you are doing an inventory valuation for a chemical industry, you don't know the technique of valuation. You are depending upon the management representation. And when you are talking about judgmental area where you are asking whether any provision is required for debtors, but the management believes that it's collectible. In those judgmental areas, you can actually get a representation that will support you even when you are defending yourself with your audit documentation, including SA 580 in the court of law or in any reviewers forum, even in a disciplinary proceedings. But for example, if you are getting a representation letter saying that the inventory has been properly valued and there is no exceptions. We confirm that there is no exception. With that, we have not done any work on the inventory valuation. It will never ever help you to say that I got a representation accordingly, it will save me. Never ever. Only on judgmental area, only on technical matters, the representation will save you. In all other areas, your work performed, your work papers documented only can help you out. And of course, updating clients what you have done is one of the requirement. And sometimes this is again, we traditionally do this. For example, when I have completed the work as a field in charge, I'm just giving an example, assuming that I'm not the partner of the firm. I have done that as a field in charge. I have completed all the work. When I'm taking it to the senior partner, the senior partner will go into each and every work paper. It is not possible for him to go through the entire work paper. Sir, Basuraj sir, can you mute yourself, sir? And what is simply what he will require is, what is the current year number, what is the previous year number? He will go through that based on his experience and knowledge on the particular client. If there is a significant deviation for a particular item, he will ask for review of that particular work paper, a call for that. Final analytics means just before sign off, you do again a variance analysis for the benefit of the partner to have a look and then decide what are all the work papers he wanted to verify in depth. All other work papers he can have a overall look. That also is one of the audit documentation which you are talking about. Finally, SA 700 talks about forming an opinion and reporting, and that is what we are giving a report. In case if it is audited under any other law, we are giving Form 3CA. In case if you are saying that this is not audited under any other law, we are giving Form 3CB. So those two specimens I have actually shared for all of you. Let me just take you through certain clauses which require a special attention from the point of view of audit as well as the audit documentation. I think that this slide will cover majority of the requirement. That is what I believe, because if you see in the case of an SME or non-corporate entity, normally we have an issue relating to 50C because the client may be transferring properties or purchased properties, and the value fixed under the stamp duty will be different from this, and what is the implication arising out of that at the time of computation of your capital gains for the year under consideration. So clause number 17 specifically requires the auditor to look into that particular aspect and says whether any land or building or both is transferred during the previous year for a consideration less than value adopted or assessed or accessible by any authority of a state government referred to in section 43CA or 50C. In that case, they are saying details of the property, consideration received or accrued, value adopted by the assessee, and what is accessible. So there is a pointed question, right? So when you prepare a checklist clause by clause, you have to specifically ask, is there any transfer of property which has happened during the period? And if so, then you should ask what are all the implications arising out of the consideration which has been happening as per the deed and what is in 50C. So that is one area where the audit documentation should support importantly. And another clause is clause number 19, which starts with section 32AC to section 35E. There are some weighted deductions which are available. There are expenses which are relating to scientific research, etc. For an SME practice, I don't think that majority of the classes will be not applicable. Majority of the sections will be not applicable because the client will be normally carrying out. But my suggestion is to see what each section is talking about, what particular requirement of that particular section, whether it is applicable to your assessee during the year under consideration. If not applicable, mark in the audit program, not applicable for the year under consideration because no such payment has been made. From that, you can fill your clause number 19, saying that there are no such payments during the period. Could be easy audit documentation which supports. Another important clause is clause number 20. Of course, clause number 20 has A and B, but I will take only B, which is 36(1)(5)(a). What it says, suppose if the company has collected any money from the employees for any benefit fund, whether they have remitted the fund with the respective authorities within the time limit permitted. Normally in a SME practice, two things can happen. One is contribution to Provident Fund, employee's contribution to Provident Fund, what is deducted from the salary of the employee, and employee's contribution towards employee state insurance, ESI. These are all the two things which can normally happen when we are talking about clause 20. Okay. So here there are some things which you have to consider. One thing is, there are two school of thoughts. It says, if it is not paid within the due date, it is a permanent disallowance under the Income Tax Act. It is not like 43B. It is allowable on payment basis. It's one school of thought. But there are a lot of case laws which are saying that if it is paid within the due date for filing the return of income, or the amount has been paid during the year itself, even if there is a delay, it is still allowable, is what another school of thought says. I normally consider what the institute suggests. According to the institute, it's not a permanent disallowance. It's acceptable as a allowable item, provided it's paid within the due date specified, and it can be even paid in the subsequent period. So what happens is, if there are some amount which is unpaid during the year and it is not paid within the due date, for example, March ESI or March Provident Fund, but not paid within 15th of April, and I think this year they have extended by 1 month here in Tamil Nadu. I'm not sure about the other states. So in case if we are talking about 15th of May, within 15th of May, if it is paid, I don't have a problem. But if I'm making the payment on 15th of December 2020, only that portion will be questionable. Otherwise, all the amounts will get allowed, is what is my conclusion, according to the guidance note of the institute as well. And there are so many case laws. You people are tax experts and you also know what is what. And how to present this particular contribution which you have collected and how you will validate. One thing is month-on-month contribution collected and month-on-month remittance, what is the due date is required. Interestingly, the clause also says, in case if you are making a payment, otherwise by means of a check, whether the check has been realized within 15 days from the due date. Another clause. So for example, I will say that I have made the payment by check, but I never given the check. Whether it is allowable, that is also questionable according to this particular section, 36(1)(5)(a). So you have to be maintaining proper documentation, how you have validated this. A simple validation is, get the copy of all the challans for all the 12 months, reconcile the numbers with the books of accounts, and ensure that that is being properly managed. This is one clause where it requires a little bit of work on the I should say clerical side. It is not something very great on the technical side, that is knowledge of the particular act or particular section, but it's a simple template. Your first year article can also prepare this if you have given that particular template. Again, next biggest challenge which we are having is 40A. This 40A, 40 small a, contains, or it has a direct relationship with your chapter 17B also, because it talks about not only relating to payment. Basavaraj sir, please mute yourself, sir. So what happens is that any payment made to non-resident, whether TDS has been deducted and remitted, whether payment to resident, whether you have deducted and remitted the TDS, and any other amount where you have deducted TDS, etc., all those things are getting covered in 40A. And in case of course, it is not going to be a case where an SME will have this. Suppose in a company, there is a possibility, closely held company, if somebody wanted to give the benefit for the managerial person because they are the promoters, you can give them non-monetary perquisite instead of giving in cash, and the tax on that non-monetary benefit can be paid by the assessee. It is permitted. So in that case, in the hands of the recipient, who is the owner of the company, that amount is not taxed because the tax is paid by the company. But only thing is, in respect of the company, it is not allowed as an expenditure. That is also getting covered as part of 40A. So you have to be maintaining a complete record of what I have talked about is what are the accounts as per the trial balance which are subjected to TDS, what is not required to be subjected to TDS, and what is the amount. Is there any short deduction permitted? If any of my supplier has actually given me a concessional rate of tax certificate based on which whether I have deducted, how I have reconciled that with this. Maybe I can tell you, I think that I will leave it to using tools and technology, because in Tally you can actually do this in a simple manner, provided the client is maintaining the habit of using journal entry when they are accounting for an expenditure. For example, when you are saying that a particular expenditure has been debited and the credit has been given to TDS payable and credit has been given to the party account, the Tally allows you to create a columnar ledger. In the columnar ledger, you can see for every item of expenditure, there is one column of TDS payable. So that shows that TDS has been actually deducted. Wherever there is a blank, only for those items you work it out whether it is subjected to TDS or not. It's very easy. In fact, one of my friend, when using audit tool, he has actually demonstrated how it can be done by exporting to Excel and do the entire work. Another class for partnership firms, which is very important, is class 21 relating to 40B, because when you are making payment of remuneration to a partner of a partnership firm, then the profit as determined by 40B is an important consideration. Okay, so there also you see what is the computation you have made and how the computation has been validated. Keep the documentation. Next important is class number 21 relating to 40A3. In 40A3, it's a cash payment, right? In a cash payment, it is actually the way in which it is read. It is not talking about cash payment. That is an interesting point for us. What it says is that it says disallowance or deemed income under section 40A3. On the basis of examination of books of accounts and other relevant document evidence, whether the expenditure covered under section 40A3 read with rule 6DD were made by account pay check drawn on a bank or account pay bank draft. If not, please furnish the details. Just see, we are assuming this clause as if payment has been made in cash, that clause comes into the picture, but actually it is not. Any payment which has been made even in check, whether it's an account pay check is what they are asking. Account pay draft is what they are asking. Now, of course, ECS system, electronic clearing system is also accepted as a bank transaction. So in those circumstances, if you are going to report, one thing is very easy. You can just go to the cash account. In case if you are doing for a assessee who is maintaining his books of accounts in Tally, just go to the cash account and summarize the entire transaction by in the credit side, whether anything is more than 20,000 rupees. If nothing is there, you can conclude no cash payment. Okay, but in case, that 20,000 is now reduced, right? 10,000. So you are looking into that particular aspect of that in 40A3. The other aspect which you are supposed to see is that every payment made in excess of the amount given in that particular section 40A3 and 40A3A 3A is 3 capital A, has been paid by means of account pay check or account pay draft or electronic clearance system. So how you will do that? You cannot do 100% because you don't have an audit evidence, and the check which has been submitted on payment is with the bank. How you will be able to do that? Here the client, here the guidance note comes as a handy, and it gives a disclaimer by saying that in respect of bank payments in excess of the limits given in that particular section, we are unable to comment whether they are all account pay check or account pay draft because the evidence is not available with the SSC. So please use the standard words which the institute has given and document it why you are not able to verify. One of my client not accepted this disclaimer in the initial period because he has said that we maintain 2 checkbooks. One checkbook is for cash withdrawal. Another checkbook, if you see, the checkbook printed itself is with account pay. How I will be able to use this for making a payment other than account pay? I said, sir, please understand under the Negotiable Instrument Act, your crossing can be cancelled. Accordingly, just making a printout, it's not possible. So we have to maintain this particular clause unless you are able to prove for every payment from the bank, getting a certificate that it's all account pay, which is impossible. So the disclaimer which has been given and the audit documentation relating to that, how you have verified those transactions which has been more than the threshold limit in cash and in bank. What are all those transactions? And in the transaction, what is the way in which you have concluded? Suppose if there are some cash payment in excess of 20, in excess of the limit which has been given, what we normally look into that, is it made, payment has been made to a single individual. For example, a puja expenses, either puja expenses or Diwali expenses, the purchase advance might have been given and various bills have been accumulated and accounted as a single payment. Okay. So in those cases, whether the pay is a single pay, if it is not a single pay, still you can see whether individual payments are in excess of the threshold limit which has been given. When you are coming into the case of clause 23, related party payments, why this particular section is important is because section 48(2)(b) gives the discretionary power to the assessing officer to disallow the expenditure which has been recorded, and if he believes that it is unreasonable, it is beyond the market price, you have paid this, he can take the remaining balance as an inadmissible expenditure. That is what 48(2)(b) gives the assessing officer the power. So what type of audit documentation which we are supposed to maintain in respect of this particular area is very, very simple. You have to ask the client, who are all the related party? Is there any new related parties identified during the period? If there are some related parties removed compared to the previous year, what is the reason? Document the list of related parties. And whether any indirect relationship is also has to be taken care. That also you please look into. Sometimes we are getting a confirmation that a partnership firm is a related party, but all the partners of that partnership firm is also a related party to the firm. So whether that has also been considered in the list of the related party, and to that extent whether we are able to identify the transactions. One of the work paper we normally maintain is that after we identify the related party, to ensure the completeness of the related party transaction, for all the related parties, we will ask the client to give a complete account summary. What is meant by account summary? Opening balance, transactions during the year, less payments which has been made, and what is the closing balance. Out of the transactions made during the year, we will pick up and show that as part of 48(2)(b). So get that from the client, validate with the books of accounts, keep that as your audit documentation. When you are concluding that these are all the complete list of information which has to be given as per 48(2)(b). Comes to the next important aspect is clause 23, 43(b). Here, we have two challenges. One, what is not allowed in the previous year carried forward in the current year but paid during the current period. It has to be allowed because we have disallowed the amount which is unpaid in the last year, but since we have paid during the current period, we should able to get it allowed when we are computing the taxable income for the particular assessee. That is part one. Part two is what are all the liability which are outstanding during the period which get covered under 43B, and whether that has been reported under clause 26, and when it is reported under clause 26, actually clause 26 has A and B, pre-existing liabilities and liabilities incurred during the period. And the time limit for allowance of this particular item is up to the due date for filing the return of income under section 139 subsection 1. So there is a possibility that you have completed your entire tax audit in say for example in September. Unlikely for all of us. Assuming that we have completed in September, now the due date has been extended for filing the return of income till January. But we are supposed to file the tax audit report before December. So anything which has been paid up to December can be allowed as a expenditure under 43B, allowable item under 43B. So how to document this particular procedure which we have performed to identify what is the amount to be disallowed and what is the amount to be allowed during the period. As I have said, clause A talks about pre-existing liability carried forward from the previous year. Have you validated what is disclosed in the previous tax audit report under clause B of 26 and as well as clause A? Sometimes some of the items may not have been paid in the previous year as well as in the current year also. So both put together, whether it has been taken in the current year as a pre-existing liability as an opening point. Have we validated, document that as the first point of your audit procedure. Second point is, what are all the amount which has been paid subsequent to the previous year, that is during the current year? Have you collected the evidences for that particular payment? Have you documented those evidences? Put the amount in the column and the balance is unpaid. There could be scenarios where you may be having opening liability paid during the period, but some of the liabilities you have decided that the liability is no longer required, so I reverse the liability. When I am reversing the liability, I normally credit my P&L account. When it is credited to the P&L account, what the accounting treatment I have to do? The related expenditure might have been reversed, or I might have offered that liability is no longer required under other income. When we compute my income, only the amount paid during the previous year within the due date of filing the return under section 139(1) is permitted. But what is reversed? What is the treatment for computation? Because this item was not allowed under 43B before, when I am reversing that, it should not be offered as an income. So that should also be reversed in your computation. If you are having this, I normally maintain the Excel file like this. What is the opening liability? Whether it is matched with the last year clause A and clause B of subclause A and subclause B of 26. That is the first documentation I will maintain. The second documentation, what is the amount paid during the year, I will maintain so that this will be claimed as a deduction in the current year computation. And the third is, what is the amount credited to the P&L account as no longer required? Those amount we will verify whether that reversal has actually happened. If so, that will also be reduced in computing your taxable income in the current period. And the last is nothing but the unpaid balance. That unpaid balance shown in clause subclause A along with subclause B should match your other liabilities in the balance sheet. In fact, one of the documentation which we suggest is take the other liabilities shown in the balance sheet. Trade payables is not required. Outstanding expenses, other liabilities are statutory dues payable, whatever various accounts which you are having. Provisions, except trade payable, take all the items put it in a simple Excel sheet, item wise, line by line, item wise, and then say whether this is covered under 43B. For example, TDS payable, not covered under 43B, but that will also sit in amounts which are outstanding liability. So to that extent, we will mark those items and eliminate those items, and whatever is covered under 43B, we will match with the total of subclass A and subclass B. And the next one which is coming in is, you are entitled for claiming that as an expenditure, as an allowable expenditure, till such time you have the, if it is paid within the time limit for filing your return of income. So the payment will be made subsequent to March 2020. So you are supposed to verify the subsequent payment details also and document how you have validated, what type of evidences you have collected, like challans, payment vouchers, etc. Keep that. That is on clause 26. Clause 27, as I have already mentioned, it is still talking about SENVAT and VAT. It is not, the form has not been corrected with GST, but we are supposed to give what is the opening balance of input tax credit taken and what is the input tax credit availed during the period and how it is utilized and what is the closing balance. Almost like reconciling these numbers with your GST returns is what is an important point which you have to look into that. How you have reconciled is forming part of your audit documentation. Clause 31, which is talking about acceptance of loans or deposits and 269 ST, where we are talking about repayment of loans and advances, otherwise then by account pay check or crossed account pay draft or ECS gets covered. How we will validate? We have to see the movement in all the items covered here, because it talks about loan, it talks about deposit. So what are all the items on the liability side with respect to loans and advances? What is the opening balance? What is the closing balance? What is the movement in that account? Whether the movement party-wise have I documented, out of which whether some items are beyond the threshold limit which has been given in 269SS and 269T. On that case, do a sample test, how you have selected samples and how you got the comfort that it is not made by other than account pay check or not paid in cash, etc. So you take that and document it. Where you find it that in respect of bank payment, there is an issue because the evidence is not available with the assessee. To that extent, you can also mention the disclaimer as we give in respect of 48.3 and 48.3a. So same thing is what is the institute guidance note is also suggesting. And clause 34, chapter 17b, directly connected with clause 48, clause 21. Because whatever you are finding as a disallowance here, or non-deduction or short deduction, it will get covered in 48. So there is a direct linkage between these two. You have to be little cautious when you are doing this. I normally used to tell my people, your audit documentation and work papers which you are supposed to maintain, normally will have for a non-corporate entities only on two aspects. One is on major items, I should say. One is on TDS payable reconciliation and 43B items reconciliation. Some cases where they normally have unsecured loans and other things, there could be an additional work paper which we are supposed to keep in detail is on 269SS and 269ST. Other than that, for a small and medium enterprises, nothing is nothing may require most of your time. In fact, I used to tell people, even before you start an audit, some of the classes you know pretty well, this is what is going to be the final answer when you are uploading your Form 3CD. Because you know the client, and the client will not have these items. So majority of the items may not be required. So when you are taking it over from the previous year's Form 3CD, you are only has to see whether any new classes has been added. If so, whether it is applicable during the current year to the current for the assessee. And what type of validation I have done, how I am maintaining my audit procedure being documented, and support that as part of my activity. And now the last one, I just wanted to bring to the point on clause number 40 on ratios for a simple reason. Some of us may be maintaining inventory valuation on retail basis. What do you mean by retail basis? I take the selling price, reduce the margin, which is my gross margin, and indirectly arrive at my cost. And that retail method is permitted both under the Act as well as under ICDS also. So when we are doing that, I normally make a caution to people. Whenever you are using a retail method, be cautious about clause 40. If it is tax audit is applicable, there you are actually giving a gross profit margin. Assuming that the gross profit margin in the current year, because you have to give current year as well as previous year as per the requirement of clause 40. When you are giving for the current year and the previous year, and if there is no significant movement and it ranges around say 15% to 20%, but when you are taking your retail price and it is reducing your margin by 60%, any assessing officer can clearly point out that your valuation of inventory is incorrect or you have undervalued your inventory. Okay. So to that extent, the ratios makes a significant play on inventory valuation. One. Second is, you yourselves can decide whether the accounts are properly stated or not. When there is a significant fall or significant increase in gross profit, I should necessarily document what is the reason for such a significant change in gross profit margin, either upward or downward. Similarly on net profit, similarly on inventory movement, etc. So all those things are what is important with respect to the ratios. And of course, whatever I have talked about, what is the audit documentation, I have actually detailed one, you created a checklist, etc. That's what I have explained to all of you. And so this is already circulated to you for maintaining the time frame. I just thought that I will explain everything by real life examples. You can actually follow this principle, and with the checklist and other documents which I have given, it will also allow you to have the questions answered for all these items. For example, 40A1A, I talked about whether I can use a checklist for volume of transaction. Institute allows that. If so, what type of documentation is required? You have to say how you have selected the samples. And when I am saying that, is there any connect with this clause and clause number 34? Naturally, what you are doing under chapter 17B will flow to clause 21. That's what we have explained, right? Whatever I have explained, I have actually put it in the running matter so that you can simply follow and keep that as a reference. Whatever I am saying, obtaining related parties list, reconcile the disclosures, etc. If it is a company, there will be a disclosure as per AS 18, reconcile that. So all these items we are talking about. And this is relating to clause 27, how the 43B liability can be identified, documented, recorded. I have explained that with real scenario. That is what I was talking about this. Value added taxes, I have talked about this. Opening balance, how I will do. GST audit, with the work done, whether I can use it. If it is not subjected to GST audit, what is the audit procedure I have to do? Necessarily, I have to reconcile the items with the GST returns. And of course, now when you are taking your form 26AS, in the last 5 years, they have added another feature in 26AS. They are giving month-wise turnover, which has been filed under GST. It comes in 26AS. If you have downloaded that 26AS of the client last week or 10 days back, please download it again and ensure that the turnover as per 26AS has been matched with the turnover in the profit and loss account. Otherwise, you will get into some sort of trouble. So that is also another audit documentation which you are supposed to keep. So here also, I'm talking about tally-based audit, whether you can do bank payments, what is the disclaimer you can give. And in respect of ledgers, I'm talking about opening balance, transactions, closing balance, that reconciliation also you can do that. Chapter 17B, how you can do, what are all the accounts which are subjected to TDS, whether there is an exemption which is available, nil TDS which is available for the payee, whether the certificate has been verified by you, copy has been taken. So whatever I have explained, I have put it in very detailed manner for you to understand. Ratios also I have talked about it. The best practice is to keep your permanent file and the temporary file. Use checklist as I have prescribed, and I have given the complete checklist for each of the classes. You can just use that. Train your audit team. This is very, very important. Every year we are attending tax audit session. but whether we have imparted the knowledge to our audit team is always a question mark. And accordingly, train your audit team to say what is the development made during the year and what are all the changes which has happened in tax audit and what is the new clauses which has come in, what is the new requirement, like what I'm saying, 26 years you have to reconcile that number of your GST turnover with the GST returns appearing in 26 years. Like this, train your audit team. In case if you have a doubt, consult with your peers, consult with your fellow professionals. Consult will always ensure that you are not making any error in your audit documentation as well as the work which is being done. The work papers should be reviewed by senior auditor. I have given that example also. The final analytics will decide the areas where the auditor wanted to do a deep review of the work paper. Some of the areas where he can actually take an overall review. For example, I review the entire area relating to inventory valuation, every item relating to 43B, every item relating to TDS analysis, 48-2B. These items I review in depth. For all other work, I will just look into the work paper whether the team has maintained the work paper properly or not. And of course, I thought that I should also touch upon ICDS, but since ICDS will be taken care tomorrow, so I just leave this slide behind you. And in fact, what is the checklist required for ICDS also I have shared with you for the disclosure requirement, accounting policy, etc. And I think the key takeaway, again, I wanted to say is that if there is no documentation, it will be presumed that no work was done, should be made and should go into our DNA and into the DNA of our audit team, so that proper audit documentation should be maintained to ensure that our work has been fully supported by the audit documentation. These are all the areas where I thought that I will emphasize the importance of audit documentation for tax audit purposes, and with the help of the various background material and Word files and Excel files which I have shared, I hope that you can reasonably complete your audit with a little bit of ease. If you are having so much of pressure, but still it may ease your work to some extent with whatever I have shared. And if there are any questions, I will take that before I go for the question and answer session. My sincere thanks to the organizers to give this excellent opportunity of talking to all the members across all the 7 branches, and also to the chairman of SIRC member Panaraj sir, Central Council member, and again one of my well-wisher Prasanna Kumar sir, for making this to happen. And if there are some questions which you wanted to always interact, my contact details is also made available here. With that, I will stop sharing my presentation. We can actually have, if there are any questions, I can actually have the questions and answer them.
Yeah. So any questions, 1 or 2 questions? Sir, question I have, sir.
Yeah, please, sir.
That is regarding clause 40, that is ratios. Say if any assessee is auditing for the first year and the previous year he was declaring income under 44AD. So we can have only net profit ratio. The GP and all is not maintained. Then
Correct.
What exactly has to be done there? Not applicable or nil?
Vinod, actually it is not applicable because you don't have the number. And in fact, if you see the detailed one which I have given as the guidance, I have suggested to prepare an analytical profit and loss account, and I have given the format also to determine gross profit, net profit, the cost of material consumed, etc. I have given a detailed case. But the detailed analytical profit and loss account is required in the case of a manufacturing entity. Otherwise, it is not required. If a trading entity, you can simply take it from the current year, and in case in the last year it is not subjected to tax audit because of presumptive taxation, you can simply put that as a note there saying that previous year figures is not given because it is not subjected to tax audit. You can simply say that it is not presented. I don't say that
you can mention in the remarks column.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, one more question regarding 48.3 clause 21. It is a payment about 10,000 rupees.
Yes.
Actually, what we do is we see the tally here, the cash book completely.
Okay.
From there, we take a judgment. There is no payment of about 10,000. But supporting document for that, what exactly document we have to keep?
Yeah. In respect of cash payments, you don't have an escape route because you have to see all the payments. Anybody can see that. The simple way is tally will help us in analyzing all the credits in cash account and highest to lowest number if you are sorting it and find out whether anything is in excess of 10,000. See whether that amount is towards an expenditure. So if it is towards an expenditure, normally it gets covered. If it is not towards an expenditure, then we will say, for example, if it is a deposit to the bank, then we will eliminate. So all other items which is filtered, we will just only look into those items which is above 10,000 rupees, 10,000 and above. In excess of 10,000, so above 10,000, we will filter it. And then see whether each item is actually an expenditure paid to one single individual or multiple persons. So all these detailed one we have to do. There is no possibility of we maintaining something differently in respect of cash payment. So
you cannot take management representation.
You cannot for cash payment because you can verify that by your simple audit procedure. So your management representation cannot say that everything is cash payment is less than 10,000 and you are not maintaining any audit documentation to say that you have verified all the transaction and concluded this. So I don't think that representation will help. But the representation will help in respect of bank payments in excess of 10,000 rupees. But the institute suggests better to use the institute language itself, saying that the necessary evidence is not available with the SSC. So you are not able to make that comment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Could you please share the checklist through email? Sir, all these things has been shared with the organizers. I think that they will share with everyone, sir.
Yeah.
Is there any definition of EBITDA for computation of thin capital disallowance since it is not defined in IT Act? Sir, when you are talking about EBITDA, the name itself will show what is earning before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. So when you are charging something as an interest expenditure, so you can reduce it. And if you are having provision for tax, it has to be removed. If you are having depreciation and amortization, in other words, it is more or less like a cash profit plus the interest paid. So if interest is not there, what would be your cash profit? That's the way in which it is happening. So it's a simple definition what we normally adopt for any other client. You can just use the same thing because there is no specific thing which is there. Should we remove interest income in computing your EBITDA? In EBITDA, interest income, one school of thought says finance cost should be shown net of finance income. That is one school of thought which is normally there. But if you see Schedule 3 format, because I'm taking a reference from how the EBITDA can be given according to Schedule 3. So you can apply that for a non-corporate entity also in computing the thin capitalization. There it says interest is part of your other income. So to that extent, it is not reduced when you are calculating your EBITDA. So profit as per profit and loss account before tax, you add your depreciation, you add your amortization, you add your interest expenditure, but don't reduce your interest income. This is the way in which we normally compute our EBITDA, sir. Anything else, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think no questions.
Okay. So
any questions, sir? I think we can end here, sir.
Thank you again, sir. Vamana sir is also there. Sir, another friend of mine.
Thank you, Chinnasamy and Ganesan sir, for your enriching knowledge on the audit documentation. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he is another person who is instrumental in making me to speak in all branches of Karnataka, along with Banaraj sir. Both of them are putting
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
always acid test, but it's always a pleasure to talk to fellow professionals. Thank you so much, Vamana sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So now I call upon Chairman of the Belgaum branch, my friend Satish Mehta, to propose vote of thanks. Satish
Very
Mehta,
good
sir.
evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, host branch, Ballari branch, for having invited us to make this event a joint event. Respected Panaraja sir, Pompanna sir, our SIRC chairman, DC Jain sir, and the speaker of the present moment, a learned personality whom we had an opportunity to listen to when we conducted an event for our branch, Ganesan Chinnasamy sir. It is really interesting and very pleasurable to listen to him. He's such a learned person, and the efforts that he puts is amazing. Whenever he gives a presentation, he's one of the best presenters, according to me, which I have seen in the last 6 or 8 months. Thanks to Pompanna sir. Even in our branch, it was because of him only, sir, that we could get him for presenting a session to us. Friends, first of all, I wish you all a very, very happy Diwali and prosperous new year. And it is really surprising that the number of participants is amazing. It's nearly 200. And even now we can see 172 participants being online in spite of Diwali and festival, national festival, which is one of the best festivals. Yes, I could able to attend Chinnasamy sir's presentation. And I would like to give my closing remarks like this, that yes, with this faceless assessment, which has come in place, documentation will surely be taking a major role. Whenever there is a scrutiny assessment and we may be asked to give a presentation of what documents you have verified, maybe you'll have to give a presentation on that part also. Maybe even though it is online, but they might ask, because as we are all aware, now we have to pass through 4 different viewing departments, like, review unit, then technical unit, assessment unit, and verification unit. So all of us have to have our documents in place, and the topic which has been selected is apt at this point of time. I thank Ganesan Chinnasamy sir, fantastic presentation, and Panaraj sir, because of you only this was possible today. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible, where all the 7 branches have come together and have this presentation. Thank you very much, sir. And I also thank our chairman, DC Jain sir, to be having given his inaugural address to our members. Friends, it is like our profession is always a learning experience, and I'm sure by the end of this session, all of us have been enriched in this tax audit session and season, which we are going to face in the next 1.5 months. Thank you very much, friends, for having participated in large numbers and made this event a grand success. Thank you all the participants, members, chairmen of various branches, their secretaries, their managing committee members, and of course our SIRC members who is there already, Mr. Pompanna sir, Panaraj sir, and DC Jain sir. Thank you very much, sir. And wish you all again once a happy Diwali and a good day, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chinnasamy sir.
Thank you, Satish ji. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Before we proceed to second technical session, I heartily welcome on behalf of SIRC and all the branches, CA Pompanna sir, Sika sir, chairman of SIRC of ICAI. I heartily welcome you, sir, and I request you to speak few words on this occasion. I request you to speak few words on this occasion.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The DC Jain chairman, sir, and in his absence, and Central Council member Prasanna sir, and our regional council member and mentor from our region, Panaraj sir. And I am very happy to participate in this sub-regional conference, which is hosted by Ballari branch. And I am actually feel and thrilled to be participated in this sub-regional conference, which is hosted by Ballari. And I myself belongs to Ballari, and I have a little more more love and affection towards Ballari branch. And also thank all the branch chairmen, Chinnasamy chairman from Ballari, SS Naik from Bengaluru sir, Vasudev from Mysore, Satish Mehta sir from Belgaum, Pradeep Jogi from Udupi, and Subhash Patel from Hubli, and Altaf sir for taking more efforts in organizing this sub-regional conference. And this is a very proud moment for us for participating in the first virtual sub-regional conference, which never happened due to this pandemic. It has happened, and I really appreciate all the branches of Southern Indian Regional Council, because due to this pandemic, we have not stopped the disseminating of knowledge. Because almost all the branches have put a lot of efforts in spite of pandemic into sharing their knowledge to the members who across the India, and really appreciate the all the chairmen and the managing committee members and office bearers to take a keen interest in organizing this type of sub-regional conferences. and really knowledge disseminating conferences which has been organized, and topic chosen is well and need for the hour, which is tax audit documentation and audit tools for SMA, small and medium practitioners, and reporting requirements and as per accounting standards and standards on auditing, and ICDS, which is most important during this time, as we are all busy with the tax audit. And this is a very difficult and tough time for all the chartered accountants because of this pandemic, and exams got postponing. May exam could not happen, and due to which again articles has not turned to office. I know almost all the seniors will be having a tough time, and this is a time which we need to learn so many things in order to compete with the audit at present. Today, I am here to address just almost all the 7 branches of Karnataka, and very proud moment to be a part of this sub-regional conference. And I would like to address 2 issues. One is regarding that our friend Anand Jangid is here to address the issues of automation tools for SME, small and medium practitioners. And I would like to only address 2 things. This is a time where we need to, whatever we have learned, we should unlearn and relearn. I always believe learn, unlearn, and relearn is equal to earn. And that is a life cycle which everyone has to go through, because as a senior chartered accountant, many of us are not aware of the technology, that's the way the technology has changed and has taken away. So we need to gear up for doing audit. And this time is a much more double challenges which we need to face. And definitely we need important tools for auditing, but sitting at our places, and the greater challenges where there is no articles this time, and we will not be physically visit almost all the audit client places because of this pandemic, and where we have to use the technology to the core and do justice for the audit whatever we have taken. And as I always today's world of the 21st century will not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, as told by Alvin Toffler. And this is a testing time for almost all the professionals who are in practice, especially professional areas where we are not geared up for the things, the work from home culture, and or sitting at our office, having meetings and all those things. But anyway, this 6 months to 7 months, by our enriching knowledges from almost all the branches have taken keen efforts in enriching the knowledge and teaching the technological point of things to the members. And this is a high time which we need to learn and teach our articles also regarding technology. And with this technology, we can do wonders. As our today Anand Jangid will tell us how we have to best. And in our office also, we could not able to manage due to some ransomware attack. We could not able to work. Still now we are struggling. Last 1 week we are struggling with the data recovery. So this is a high time which we have to use a lot of technologies like cloud softwares, data which we need to keep in cloud and access from anywhere. We can work from home, and all these things which we need to learn and adopt in our day-to-day activities in the auditing. This is the one thing which I would like to address the members. And coming to the students' issues, I being a chairman of SICASA and heading Southern South Indian CA Student Association, and there are a lot of challenges which we are facing from the exam, from the students' point of view also. And now the exam institute has come up with people who are really not able to write the examination in November. They can opt for January, and this is not all any issues relating to students. I request all the members here to reach me, and whatever the best I can do, I will definitely do from the student point of view. And many of the student official friends who have joined in the webinar, I wish you all the best for Deepavali. And I once again thank you for giving me opportunities. For me participating in this sub-regional conference, and really I thank special thanks to Panaraj sir, who is instrumental in connecting all the speakers and getting organized all the 7 branches together and having one sub-regional conference in Karnataka, that too virtual. And we have not missed out, and we have taken this opportunity for Karnataka. And I thank the efforts put by Panaraj sir. And I already thank DC Jain for giving us opportunity to host this conference. And Ballari branch has taken a very young and under the dynamic leaders of Chinnasamy chairman. and this has happened, and really thank you. And I once again, finally, I end with my speech. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change, as told by Charles Darwin. This is a time, this is a testing time where we need to take it as a challenge, and we have to complete our audit task within the time. We don't know when there is a further extension or will be there or not, but we should not take a chance. We have to complete as early as possible within the due dates. And I wish you all the best for all the branch chairmen and MC members and committee members and almost all the friends who have joined. I welcome Anand P. Jangid, my friend, who we both are studied together in the institute, and now he has become a big man in the technology. We always and more supportive for almost all the programs of technology related things for the ICI, and he's a great support. And we are here, and I don't want to take his time for this. And thank you all the chairmen and all the members who have participated during this sub-regional conference. Thank you, Anand. Any questions regarding any examinations or students which are facing, definitely you can always reach me, and I am here to address all the queries of the members and students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sikasa Chairman, sir, Pampana, sir, for being with us and giving the positive remarks.
Yes.
Now, before we proceed to the second technical session, I call upon the Secretary of the Kalaburgi branch, CA Mallikarjuna Mahantagol, to introduce the speaker of the second technical session, CA Anand Prakash Jangid from Bengaluru. Over to Mallikarjuna Mahantagol, sir.
Thank you, Vinod, sir. Dear members, very good evening to you all, and I wish you a very happy Deepavali. At the outset, I thank the organizers of this conference for having given me this privilege of introducing CA Anand Prakash Jangid. Anand is a passionate evangelist for tech-based disruption in audit and finance domain. He is professionally a chartered accountant and a certified information system auditor. He is a managing partner at AJA, which is an organization which focuses in the areas of forensic audit, information systems audit, fraud analytics, and blockchain for internal audit function. He was part of the risk management team at Goldman Sachs, covering multiple audits across the globe. His areas of specialization were forex audit, depository participant audit, anti-money laundering audit, Basel II, business continuity plan, and operational risk. Prior to Goldman Sachs, he was with the ES Consulting Group at Infosys Technologies Limited, Bangalore, where he was involved in the development of regulatory compliance framework for various compliances like SOX Act, and was also part of the team developing a solution for Basel II Accord implementation. His responsibilities included working in sync with project of Infosys Consulting, Dallas. He has been involved in enterprise risk management, implementation, and IT audit for many international projects at USA, UK, Japan, China, etc. His other professional interests are: he is a visiting faculty for IIM Bangalore, teaching information system audit and fraud analytics, speaker at North America Computer Audit, Control and Security, and Euro Computer Audit, Control and Security of Information Systems Audit and Control Association. He is also visiting faculty at SIRC of ICAI and Wellinger Institute of Management. With this brief introduction, I am honored to present before you CA Anand Prakash Jangid. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mallikarjun, sir. Now I call upon speaker of the second technical session, CA Anand Jangid, sir, to take over the proceedings.
With the permission of chairman and all the members present here, I just taking a leave and I need to rush up for one more meeting over here, Bangalore. Thank you for giving opportunity. Once again, happy Deepavali to all the members present here and organizers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to Anand Jangid, sir. I request Anand, sir, to take over the proceedings, sir.
Sir, not audible. Anand, sir. Welcome.
Swami sir, unmute Anand sir.
Unmute, sir.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Audible, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, these
Audible,
are the challenges of technology every time. Okay, great. A very good evening, everyone, and wish you all very happy Deepavali. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And I think that's what I love about our profession. The kind of dedication at which we are at today. If there are so many people listening to this thing, there is puja going on at home and they are sitting here. That shows our dedication. So I'll just quickly give you, I don't want to take a lot of time. I have 1 hour and I would like to keep that, little bit a session which is more interactive. And I would like to be showing you something, not a death by PowerPoint, not having too much of, PPTs. I have only 15 slides. And I will just tell you what is I'm going to talk about today. So in case, you want to have some questions, and feel free to, let me know. And I was told by Panara sir and, Chairman Ballari that the idea is what can SMP do's on automation. Let's not talk at 30,000 feet for large organization. I did my articleship in a small and medium firm at Bangalore. So I understand the challenges which a small and medium firm does. And I'm sure lockdown was a boon actually, because a lot of things have come. In fact, the place where I did my articleship, my principal that time, he called me up and said, Anand, we are actually, we have to work remotely. What are the tools we should use? And that time I thought, and I told sir, yes, there are something which we can do. But then, there are something seriously we need to look into. So I thought, what should we cover? And I will just be very upfront with you. I'm going to cover from basics, really from basics. So feel free. I'm sure a lot of you have done a lot of things on this. And we have to think of how we can make automation our friend. And I know this, my father actually is very tech savvy, and he used to use the latest mobile phone all the time whenever we used to have it. But my mother was not very tech savvy. And, that is the thing. How do we can actually become tech savvy in terms of having a tech mindset? So these are the things which I want to cover in today's discussion. So we'll start with why technology and why we should be talking about automation. And this is a key. Please understand that whether we are, I always use a word. I used to be working at Infosys, and I'm sure you have read one book. This is called The World is Flat. And it was a New York best-time seller. And this was all about that sitting in Bangalore, there are people doing work for, US and UK and Europe and other things. So today we can be anywhere and we can do anything. And also there are some challenges which are happening. And I have been talking about that in almost all my talks. Sometimes people say, Anand, you're repeating it too much. But I would really like to, drive away a point, which is that we should understand what's happening around us. So in between, I'll be bringing, PPTs, PDFs and everything. So please bear with me. This is one document which is, out there, the future of job. It is coming, this report is coming since 2016. It is coming from World Economic Forum. In 2016, it was 167-page report. And they were saying that what's happening in, future of jobs, what is going to happen in worldwide. Now, if I just tell you, there is just October 20th, which is like around maybe around 23 days back, they have come out with the 2020 report. And I would request, I have already sent the link on the group, on the chat, and I will be sharing it with also with all of you. I would really like you guys to actually have this report, okay? Now, this is the report I'm talking about, which came in October 2020, this one, 20th, they reported up. And if you read this report, it's something which is, hitting me very badly, because I'm a first generation chartered accountant. I would like my kids to be chartered accountant. But what is happening is there are some places where there is a kind of a change which is coming. So what is the thing which is there? Can you see this? These are the top 20 jobs with increasing demand and decreasing demand. I'm just going to increase this font size for you just to see it up. And can you see this? And they are talking about worldwide, and they have actually a kind of outlook for 2025. And this is where we are. Can you see that we are here? Accountants and auditors. We are here also in financial analyst. We are here in accounting and bookkeeping. These are the roles which are decreasing. And can you see the other things which are going out? Like process automation, like digital transformations, and all this kind of things. Now, this is a kind of a futuristic talk. So you can always tell me that, Anand, doesn't make sense. Whatever you're saying, it's okay, great to talk about, but how does it impact us? But whether we like it or not, I hope all our friends who are here, all our senior members, all our members who have joined now, don't you think last 10 years had been a kind of big transformation in the way we were working, what we were doing and all things? So everywhere, whether we like it or not, it is happening. So that's the kind of thing we need to be focusing on. I'll not go too much into that. I have divided that there are three things we should be talking about today's presentation. First, what can we do in office automation? So I have actually come out with, it took me some time. I made an Excel sheet, what are the things which are there. And I was very much wanting to give the name of the software also. But then I thought that it would look like I'm promoting something. So what I'm going to do is, I'll talk on generic name of the softwares. And I have compiled a list in Excel sheet, which I'll share it with Ballari branch, and they will mail it to all of you back, because it should not happen. I want you guys to decide on that. It should not happen that I am saying something, but the first step we need to look into is office automation, because charity begin at home unless we do it first time. Just now, our good friend was talking about ransomware. You just ask people who have gone through the ransomware kind of thing, they will tell you how frustrating it is. I remember there was a kind of one of my friend in Hyderabad whose office actually got hit by ransomware. He became so frustrated. He actually was like, I told him you do this, this, and then he said, I can't do any of these things. I'm just sending you a flight ticket. You come down and just get it fixed, because everything is stopped. So people who have gone through it, they do understand that. So we need to start with the charity at home. And I have around 30 points I'll be talking about. It will be too much, but I just thought that is the main crux of my today's thing. The second one I would like to talk about is process automation. I think it actually hit me also. We used to go and do a lot of consulting for client. And then they said, oh, in your office, you don't have it. So that is like, it hit me hard. So we need to see, before we go, we should start with office automation, our stuff, process automations, which is like some of the areas I'll be talking about. And please understand one thing, whatever I'm going to talk about, all of them are already there with you. They are not something new or something which you need to invest money on. They are there. And the third one I would like to talk about, what you can do, to initiate one more line of service, which I think, especially if you are an SMP from Mufassil area, you can do amazing. And that is the reason I always believe, that, we have our one office in Trivandrum, and one we have opened a very small office right now. You would be, shocked to know that we have opened an office in Alleppey, which is a small place. We are just opening out there. The reason is twofold. First, the cost part, and now people can work. We have like some small stuff to be done. It can be done from anywhere, and technology enables us to do that. So these are the kind of things which I would like to share today. And the last point would be having a tech-enabled mindset. And feel free, I would like to, you can just ask me any question on which softwares and all things. Though I'm going to give an Excel sheet at the end of the thing, I don't want to promote any software which will look like, okay, Anand is promoting it. That's the reason I'm not just talking about that. But otherwise, I have a full list which I'll be sharing with all of you. So let's try to deep dive into that. So the first thing on office automation. See, I told you, if we have to do it, it's not going to be easy. Initially, it will look very tough. I'm sure some of you would have heard about implementation of ERPs. They are long process, costly process. But every time when you do anything we do for the first time, which is there, is going to be challenging. So what I have tried to do it, I have divided the office automation into different boxes. What you can do for productivity, improving the productivity. what you can do for improving your business, what you can do to improve your financials. You know, we are all chartered accountant, but I think there are some points which are there which we can actually look into. Like a basic thing I'm just talking about, because in fact, we were also not doing in our office. We are also a small firm. And, you know, that is like budgeting. We tell all our clients you should do budgeting, but have we implemented a budgeting system in our office? That's a kind of question. You know, maybe I'm just going a little overboard, but I just tried to bring it up there. So without much ado, let me actually deep dive into the first area. So the first area of office automation, which I have taught, is on the area of productivity. So what are the things which we can do and I told you, this is my first section where charity begins at home. I'm not even gone into what you should be doing for outside. So this is actually to optimize our cost, make our systems better, and take that forward. Okay. So let me start with the first question. Some disturbance. Put everyone on mute. So the first part which happens is time tracking. How many of us are we doing a time tracking? Now, why I tell you time tracking is very important. It is a very basic stuff that every day morning when our people are coming to office, can we actually have a HRMS system, human resource management system? And I'm actually telling you something which I'm not sure how many of you are aware of, but how many of you are aware of that all this HRMS system is available free of cost? We are using one in our office also right now. And I can just show you also, but before that, let me just try to go to a site. Let me just show you where you can actually get all this free software. Or they're not free, basically they are open source software. This is the site I just want you guys to go. Open source softwares. This all software here are absolutely freely available. And you can just go and say time management software. I'm just giving you. So it's better to teach you how to fish than just give you a fish on a daily basis. So I just thought of telling you this. There are, for small time management software, there are hundreds of time management softwares which are there. And you can actually use them like anything. The one we are using, I'm just telling you, is Clockify. So Clockify basically means every day morning, whenever anyone comes to office, whichever project he's working on, I know that this is the software which is there. Okay. And this is absolutely free. And we have right now 40 people who are actually using it. What it gives me, let me tell you one thing. As a, as a person who's never in office and always at the client place, it basically allows me what we call it as a way of knowing who is working on what. And at the end of the month, if I'm doing a billing, don't you think it will actually give me a kind of a better understanding that, okay, on this project, my people have spent more than 300 hours. So should I bill them at this rate or anything? So I need to actually look into that. Okay. So basically what we are trying to do is we need to actually look it into from a perspective. Okay, Madhava, I think I'm declining your annotation request. I'm not going to give you right now. Okay, so feel free that the idea is to use this as a tool. So the time tracking part is an HRMS thing. And I'm telling you, just think of that, how professional your office will look like when you have an HRMS system where leave management and all these things can be just automated. And we use one software. I'm just trying to quickly show you also that, and I'm giving a complete list. The name is called Orange HRM. It's a free one and it's very useful. It's an open source one, Orange HRM. We use it. And this is like, I have all my employees out there, and you have to take the open source one. This is the free version, is the other one. You have the open source one. You can download it up. Okay. And this is what we are using. So the point which I'm trying to say is that's the first step which we can actually start with and take that forward. Second, this is my favorite. So right now, as you are seeing my screen, you are also checking it up that whatever I'm saying is being typed out there, right? And this is something great which is happening, because this is a basic feature in what? In Word, in PowerPoint, anywhere which is there. And this is what we call as the digital dictation softwares. And I was actually writing one small article. And let me tell you one thing, I was able to finish that article because I was just putting my thoughts out there in hardly, you will be shocked to know, 55 minutes. You know, it never happens to me because writing an article itself is a big effort. You have to think of that, what you're going to write and all the things. But you can just see whatever I'm doing. Yeah, there are some error here and there which happens. But at 90% level, whatever I'm saying is actually working it out. Now, this is a feature which is available in Word and all the things, and Office 365 by default. I'm telling you, you should be using it. And you will be shocked to know one thing. Where did I came to know? You know, I think just now Pompana was telling me Anand has become a big, yeah, I've become big in size. Panara sir knows that only in size I've become big. Otherwise, I'm a regular chartered accountant. And the only thing which has happened is
People curse me if you use that. You don't allegate me.
No, sir, I'm just joking. And now Pompana was telling me Anand has become a big man. I said, no, big man in size only. That's all. So what happens is, you know, I was actually attending one session just around 6 months back. And, you know, Dr. Shetty from Maran Hidale was talking out there. And he told me something which was very interesting. I thought, how do I don't know that? I'll just tell you one interesting thing. He will be on the phone and he never types anything on the phone. You know, if you go to your, you know, this one keyboard, you have this one symbol will be there of speak. You can actually use dictation there. And it was Mr. Shetty told him that how he is using digital better. Because what he was doing is, he was actually dictating all the files and everything and the work using his mobile phone. And he was saying it was much better. Only thing what was a problem was, he told also, that is this is what we call having a digital mindset. What happened was, there are some technology terms. There are terms in technology which are very hard to pronounce. You know, some medical terms are there which are very not easy to pronounce. So what he did just to overcome that is, in his mobile phone, he asked one of his assistants to put all the tough, you know, tongue twister medical terms. So once you feed it as a contact name, you know, let's say, for example, Anand Jangid, a name I have just saved it, then the computer will become, or your mobile phone becomes smarter and it is able to read it out. So you are understanding this is actually a kind of thing which streamlines a lot of stuff. Using project management and task management. I don't know how many of you like to use this task management, and it is there in your, you know, Windows only. I'll just maybe I'll just stop the dictation. It will be sometimes it looks little, you know, tough for some of the thing. But I don't know how many of you use one very interesting software. If you are using all Windows, there is something called as you know, To-Do from Microsoft. We use it extensively. Every project which we are doing, this is called Microsoft To-Do. I would suggest you to start using it. You can collaborate your whole office into that. So basically, I have every project which we are doing. You know, if we have 300 projects, all 300 projects are on Microsoft To-Do. And we have divided that these are the tasks which has to be done by everyone, whoever is working on the task. And once I approve it, on a daily basis, I just log on to this one and see for myself which project is how much percentage done. It can be filing of return. It can be you know, small things. I'm just giving you a very, very small example, but this goes a lot of way. Because see, we should know what's happening in my office. We should know what other people are doing. If they are free, can I actually ask them to write some articles and use them more effectively? So this is one of the things which is project management and task management. You know, you divide everything into a small, small project. And let me tell you one thing. Initially, it will look like, why are we doing it? But please understand, as chartered accountant, as process expert, we all know, do you want to have your office person dependent or process dependent? My point is very simple. If Anand is not there in office, the office should work. How can I automate to that level? So if I'm not going for 30 days to office, I still know what's happening in the office, and still office is working in a way which is there. And let me tell you one thing. please, don't think that I actually did all of the thing. It is I'm a very unorganized person, and to get into this level, you have to become disciplined. It's not easy. There is a saying, I don't know if you've heard in Sanskrit or Hindi, they say, khud pe shashan fir anushasan. If you want to bring discipline on others, first you have to be disciplined, and it is tough, to be very honest. I started using to do, and then I stopped it because I was myself not doing it. But then I saw the benefit of that, and because when in front of the client, I can just open it up and say, okay, this is done, this is finished, and why you guys have not finished this, because I can actually get all the feedback. So that makes life, and that is something which you can help in making productivity. And by the way, I just want to tell you, there are 300 plus softwares like that. Microsoft To Do, I just use it because we can actually connect. Like, I can allocate a work to one of my colleague, and she will or he will send me back, so I can actually connect it up. There are more, tools are there. Like there is if you want to do large project management, there are something called as Microsoft projects. You can actually use it. But see, I would not suggest that right now, projects from Microsoft, because they are expensive. For a SMP, you don't require it. So this is Microsoft project. It is actually complete project management tool. And okay, 660 rupees per month, you can actually get this up. So this is actually a good tool, not a bad tool. I have been using it when I was in Infosys, but at SMP level, I think To Do is good enough to work with that. Then comes my favorite area. If you really, okay, tell me one thing. I can guarantee you 90% of our chartered accountant, especially SMT, are not regular in taking backups. And it is also painful process. Who will go connect a hard disk and everything? Why can't we have a digital filing system? And my personal favorite is right now, because I have tried 3 of the best services. I have tried Dropbox, I have tried OneDrive, and I have tried Google Drive. All the 3 I have tried it, and the paid version we tried it. OneDrive is like, I think, one of the best digital filing system which is available if you don't want to have a lot of things, which means I have every client digital file is there. I have their, in fact, I know one of my friend who's using it, like every client's PAN number, all detail, every file, everything which comes, they will scan the paper and it is there on OneDrive. And you will be shocked to know the yearly, cost of having a paid OneDrive is $24, which is like, I think how much? 1,400 rupees. That's nothing. And you don't have to worry about your data and all the things because it is on the cloud all the time saved, and we can actually do it. And if you have to, basically check anything of the file, you have everything available. And what is the most interesting thing in OneDrive now? I'm not sure how many of you have tried it. You can give access, so that which means not everyone have access to all the file. I can say that this folder this team has access to this folder. This client can be accessed by this people. Not everyone have access to all the kind of thing. And it has to be set up. It takes some, few days time. But once you have done it, it works like cream, And the last one in productivity, which I think, and this is coming from what I see, with one of my, principal, he asked me the same question. How do I do efficient email management process? Now, you may have one email ID where all the email comes, right? How do we basically know which client is doing it? So there are tools for efficient email management. I don't know if you're using Gmail or you're using things. There are some tools which will basically say this emails have come from this client. It is like a ticketing system. And that will actually make sure that this mail goes to this person. He's working on that, even if you have one ID. There are some fees, small fees to be paid, but these are all the tools which we can actually use from a perspective of improving the productivity. I'm sorry if it is very basic for you right now. Let me go to the next level. I just thought I'll cover everything. I have 30 points. I'll cover 30 points. Aram se, and the other things I'll go a little fast. Okay. So second thing is on financial. Okay. This is my favorite one, and I'm not sure. There may be challenges because in many Morphosis area, your billing and everything happens on what we call it as relationships and other things. And I remember when I was doing my articleship, our boss used to say that this client is paying us now, last 3rd year back, what work we have done, that payment is coming now, because it will be a long process which happens. But I am telling you, I'm not sure if you have tried Tally's latest version, which is released around 2 days back. Anyone has tried that? Anyone has installed it? Please try it. It's very interesting. They have some amazing feature, which means, basically, if I can actually set up that this is the invoice being raised for the client and the money has not come, every 15 days it will send a reminder mails. How many of you are aware of that? This is fun, right? Oh, I didn't send it, the system sent it up. And it makes life easier because as a, I was in employment and that was all much better, but I have a lot of respect for our friends in practice, because the moment I came into entrepreneurship, I understood, 2-3 days back, the cleaning lady didn't come and my office people were calling me, sir, cleaning lady is not there. So you have to worry about everything from cleaning lady to your client, everything has to be worried about. So from that perspective, at least something is automated, it can be taken care of itself. Maybe it will, sometimes the client may get annoyed, but I just tell that, boss, this is our system which is working. I'm not doing anything. It has been set out there. See, invoice is raised. If the moment the money comes, it will automatically stop sending you a reminder every 50 days. Using an online budget tracking system, which I have now put it up there, and it has been useful because now we come to know, okay, we have budgeted, we are spending this much money, and all these tools are free. Whatever I'm telling you, this one, like Tally's new version is there. This feature is also there in the QuickBooks and other things also if you're using it. So online budget tracking system gives us a kind of a tracking of just zero-based budgeting, what we teach every day in what we have learned in our studies. The same thing is out there in terms of understanding and taking it forward. Then the third one, I would say this is what a lot of chartered accountants are not doing, and I would request you to do it. I think you should start giving your services, on tools, which is like automatic selling stream, which is there. And this automatic selling stream is, I'm not sure how many of you would love to do it, but how many of you have gone to a site like freelancer.com? I know a chartered accountant from Gujarat, Ahmedabad, who has who is doing, you will be shocked to know, is doing an annual billing of more than 30 lakhs, okay, just by having his profile on this. And I'm sure you would have heard him also. He has recently started sharing all these things online. If you just, I don't want to name him, but he's from Gujarat, and he has actually showed him, like, because freelancer.com and all the sites which are there are a lot of sites on there, freelancer site, where you can just make a profile of you that I am an accountant. And see, I'm again telling you, I'm not going against whatever our institute has said. We have a kind of a proper process that we can't advertise. We don't have to do that. This is just making a profile that we give this service. And these are the ones which are there. Fiverr, Upwork. Upwork is pretty good. And here you can actually give all the service of accounting. I'm sure, have you read one article which has come recently that there is a big shortage of accountant and accounting service professionals in Singapore presently? So there are a lot of work which is being done on, if you go to free, like, I would highly recommend you to go to Upwork and just search for accounting services, and you will understand what I'm trying to say. That I can actually just show you this one, and I'm sure many of you have been already doing it. Okay, this is nothing new which I'm trying to say, but as I told you, I just thought I'll start with that, and we can just search for accountant. Audits are also there, and you can see there are so many people who are providing services out here at $40 to $50 per hour, and they make profiles and all things from CPAs to, you can actually check chartered accountants and you can see this, or you can actually go QuickBooks and see if anyone requires the services of managing it. Now, this can be an automated process. Why I'm just telling you. So we have Hiren who's giving QuickBooks for, something around $50-60 per hour. This is creating new income streams, selling our products online, and our services are products. We can be actually going for that, right? Using a comprehensive accounting software, I don't have to tell you, we are all expert in that. But my suggestion is, please go for a comprehensive. Okay, let me ask you one thing, and this applies to me also. Because this time during the whole of this lockdown, I realized one very interesting thing, that we are not using our accounting software to the full potential. Do you agree or disagree? I think we are not using our, let it be Tally, let it be QuickBooks. There are so much of features are there. Because what happens is, I remember now, at least in ITT, students have to go and find out what are the features of Tally and all the thing. When we learned it up Tally, it was our senior teaching us that you do this way, it will work it up. No one has read the manual of Tally or anything is there. Please start reading it up. We should get the benefit out of the tool. If you're paying something around 20,000, 30,000 or 15,000 for a software, don't you think we should be getting at complete features of that? Like, I was not aware of that, but I'm honestly telling you, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed of that. But I was not aware that we can actually have all the billing and payslips generation and everything from Tally. And during this lockdown, I was like sitting free and I was just exploring. So I actually asked our person who was handling this, internal billing. I said, why don't we give payslip to all our people? We should be giving payslip. He said, yeah. I said, have you set up the master in the system? He said, no. Why don't we do it? There are a lot of things like this which can be done to streamline our business processes. Now it is like, I don't have to worry about what is there, what is the issue. Everything is connected between Tally and Orange HRM based on leaves and all the things which works it out. And as I told you, I have already told you about sourceforce.net. Explore all the software. You don't have to buy paid software. Please don't spend money just like that. I'm just going back again, and I'm a big fan of open source software. Go to this site. Every software here is safe and freely available. Safe. Why I'm using the word safe? Because we think sometimes free is not good, and I also say that. But SourceForge is totally open source, and you can actually see even they have finance software like ERPs are there. Can you imagine that? You have all the software to manage, and there are reviews for all the software. These are HR software for selling course, everything you name it. They have all categories which is there. Please explore it up. In fact, whenever I have to buy a software, before that I'll go to SourceForge and try to figure it out whether I require the software or not. Yeah. Now coming to a little, I would say, when I was making this slide, it was coming on back of my mind that the moment I show this slide, some of the people may object. That is marketing. Okay. I know as CAs, we can't market it up, but if you see the guidelines and other things, there is a kind of term which we call it passive. What this means, we are not actively marketing ourselves, but we can actually have a marketing in a little different way. Why do we write articles? Why do we get published? Why do we go there? One of the things which I think our chartered accountants are very good is knowledge. Only thing is we don't express it. So why can't we have, I'm just, and it's actually, I double checked our institute guidelines before making this slide. It took me, I'm not joking, but this 15 slide took me more than 3 hours to make. And it's like, I had to go back. I'll just try to show you one thing, which I don't know how many chartered accountants have done it, but our institute has come out with one very interesting thing, which is digital. Here it is. I was also part of this one. Digital competency maturity model for professional accounting firm and implementation guide also. So this is one of the most ultimate thing which I would say you should actually use it up. And I'm telling you, not just because I was part of the team which made it up, because we know what we have put into that. In fact, if you try to go deep into that, here we have put, you do an assessment of yourself, a self-assessment first of where we are in terms of everything. And you will be shocked to know that this has been adopted by the European small firms. They have taken the same knowledge what we have developed and taken it. So it talks about section A is all the automation which you can do. So instead of me trying to give you a full yarn, it is already there. This document is, one of the best document which I can actually say is available today for that. You have to just start with assessing where we are and then try to go into that. It will tell you how much things we are doing it right or wrong. You can actually score it up yourself, that in section A, what is my score? It's a self-assessment, and take that forward. So here we have everything, benchmarking yourself against all of the things. So what are the process we follow in mobile devices? What do we do in data security? How are we doing electronic payment? Are we having licenses? What are the digital media of communication we are using? How are we protecting our personal data? How are we trying to, save ourselves from online scam? Are we doing any kind of services in information systems or all that? This is a very good document. I'll actually maybe share the link in the chat, And I would highly recommend you to please download this. This is something which I would, highly recommend everyone to be actually using it. These are the tools which we can do it. And if you're really serious about making a dent in terms of using it, you can actually start, and this will be a good starting point for everyone, right? One of the things which I think most of our CAs and chartered accountant website don't have is blogs. Blogs are important. I realize we just upgraded our website ajfirm.com, and we were not getting enough hits. Like a lot of people are not coming out there. So when this happened, I actually thought, what is the reason? And I actually went to a couple of guys and said, what can I do to make it better? They said, till you have a blogs are like basically you're sharing your thoughts. It can be one page. Why can't, I'm sure yesterday there is a package which is come on Atmanirbhar Bharat on Nirmala Sitharaman. You can actually just put your thoughts out there. It will make more and people aware that you are there. I met one gentleman who is Mr. Shiva. He's actually the Chief Audit Executive at Titan, and he has written something very interesting. What he has done. He's very much into Hindu mythology, and he written about Das Avtaram, which is our, as per Hindu mythology, Vishnu's avatars and our thing, and the role of internal auditors. That was so amazing, and it is like proper hit in terms of people talking about it. And one more thing which is there is, if we have a kind of a concept in our institute that we can have push market. We can't have push marketing. We can have a pull marketing, which means people can come and ask for information. We cannot disseminate information. And from that perspective, blogs are going to be the best tools which can be there. And we can actually ask them to collect the opt-in form. I don't know how many of you are aware of this thing. Opt-in form is on our website. We should have a form. We should have a kind of a mailing list created, which gives a long way, because, if there is a chartered accountant who's writing something good on, let's say, I'm just giving an example. Recently, I came to know about something called producer companies. Which are different kind of companies which are dealing with agricultural produce. Now, if you are an expert on that, what is the best way is to just give more information on that. People will be coming to you and they will do it. I remember, long back, I have written around, not just now, 9 years back, I have written an article on how to do company formation, and it was published at one of the forum. And I still get mails on that article, 10 years back article, where people ask, okay, we are opening company, what do you think which can do out there? So it's actually a very good tools to be doing that. One more thing which I don't know how many of you like to use it, but video marketing is great. For everything, we can actually now PowerPoints and all things. If you actually give one of your kids in the office, one of the article clerk that, you just, maybe there are some books I'll share, and you just tell them that, hey, can you make a video on PowerPoint? They will make something amazing. In fact, it has happened in our office. And that can be a great way of dealing with that. So this is the marketing one, a little bit of controversial sometimes people may say, but I would say the basic things is our duty. We should be dealing with that. Then comes some collaboration part, and collaboration things. I think all our members, our team members should be now, during the lockdown time, we have learned about all this teleconferencing, web conferencing and other things. And this should be actually a kind of way out. Today in your mobile phone, we can have Zoom, WebEx and all things, and all the services are totally free right now to use it up. So sharing of files, data online. One thing which I would request all SMPs to have in their office is this one. How many of you, I don't know how many of you use Microsoft Teams? It's totally free right now. 110% free. And that's the reason I'm using all Microsoft thing, because, already we have paid for that. And we can actually start it up. So I'm just sharing with you, and this is okay. 1 minute, it's not going to my other screen. Okay, here we go. This is Teams. So this is like our office messenger. Instead of using WhatsApp and all thing, everyone who's in my office, we are on Teams. And you would be shocked to know it just hardly takes us 20 minutes to set up Teams. And it's totally a good tool for collaboration. You should be actually using it. It can be file sharing, calls, video calls between teams and all things. It is on mobile and everything. And it's the best, I would say, available services right now, which is available, which we can actually use. So that can actually add a lot of value for all of us. So that's something which I would say are another things which we can work at. Coming to the next part, I have 2 parts left on that. First is customer service. Okay, I would say client service or customer service is interesting, and you can actually do some of the thing out there to do what we call as ticketing system. I'm sure all of you have gone to all the banks and all things, and have you seen that if you want a service, you have to take a ticket. How many of you know that this tools or ticketing systems are totally available for that? So if any of the client has any request they want to do it, I'm just showing you one thing. This is the site which you should go, because 90% of the tools which you want, I'm actually promoting it because this is Atmanirbhar Bharat Indian based company, Zoho. I'm sure you've heard about that. They have everything which we require on most of the thing. And if you're using 1 license or 2 license, it's totally free. But in case you would like to have more, then it can become a cut. So my point is that why can't we have a ticketing system? Ticketing system basically means is, I'll just show it to you. It is basically a place where you can have, I'll just show you 1 minute. Here also, or maybe here. So it's basically like service required. A free ticketing system is there, like Vizimo and all the things, where you can actually ask any of it. This is actually meant for small businesses, where you would want to give a feel of, the client says, I want to have it. Yes, this is the ticket, and these are all the free help desk softwares. So it is basically means our office is working in a mode. I know that my people have worked on so many help desks and suggesting it up. And you can see Zoho Desk is the one which is right now free. All of these are free, and it makes it life more easier. It's like an online thing. They can just say, I would like you to change my, or file my returns on this one. It is okay. We have all the process which is there. But can we bring some process oriented that whenever we are filing this up, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and this is how it is going. And if the client has some issue, he has to raise a ticket. I'm just not telling it from a taxation perspective. It can be any other thing. So in general, it can be used. So that is one very interesting thing, ticketing system. We are using it for any time, apart from our regular work. If the client wants something, we just say, can you raise a ticket? So we can allocate the ticket to the right person and he can actually take it up. This is something I'm not sure you would like to have it up, but there's one very interesting thing. In Gmail, you have a feature which means you can share your calendar and your client can actually see which time slot on your calendar is free and they can book it up there. This is actually there. I was not aware of that. One of my client only told me, why don't you share your calendar? I said, why? What do you mean? He said, because you are always busy. When I call you up, you're not there. You're not picking up the phone. So I can actually do it. See, it's also there many times. The client has to be also tech savvy. Many times our clients are also not tech savvy. But I'm just telling you, this are some of the features are there. And one thing which I would request all SMP to start doing, it's actually looks little odd, but I would say, that it will go a long way. That is taking customer feedback. We were not doing it because I was also feeling a little odd initially, but we have started doing CSAT survey, which is called customer or client satisfaction survey. After doing every work, we give them a satisfaction form, they fill it up. And initially we didn't get good feedbacks, but now and we found that there are a lot of interesting things which our clients are telling, and that is leading to us knowing many other issues our clients were facing which we are not aware of that. So maybe in our was more consulting, but I'm just giving you, we can actually think of that. So these are all the things which we can use. And for doing online surveys and this one, I don't know how many of you have used forms.google.com. Please start using it. This is very interesting tool. In fact, one of my friend told me one very interesting thing. So we use it for customer feedback and other things. But do you know that stock taking, if you're doing stock taking, and it is the same service is also available from Microsoft. So you can go forms.microsoft.com. So from any of that thing, you can just make forms, online forms for survey and all things. So Microsoft Forms are easier because it is already there. And what is the most interesting thing about Microsoft Forms and other things is you can actually have a very detailed form made, and they will teach you also how to make the whole forms. And we can actually get a lot of idea about them. What are they thinking? What are the key things which we need to look into? Okay. let me just quickly take you through the last part of this one, which is on on the office automation side, which is what we call it as mobile working and telecommunication. Now, I don't know how many of you have started taking virtual phone numbers. In India, you can get virtual phone numbers, which is very interesting. I really found it very useful because it gives you a feel of bigger company, and the charges are very less. We have been using a lot of remote desktops and mobile, things which are there, but all of them goes a lot of process, which means it's a sync between everything which is happening. I just thought I'll show you some of them which are there. As I told you, Zoho has a list of tools which you can actually play around with that, starting from accounting to business email to everything. And for single or other things, it's are all freely available. Second thing which I would like to just show you quickly is, here there's two things. How many of you are aware of Power Query? Because I'm sure we are all using Excel. And if you're using Excel, you can actually use Power Query for a lot of your things. And Power Query actually has a lot more power than anything which you can think of. I'm just telling you, it can make our life so easy. Let's say, imagine that in a folder you have 3,000 files. It can actually make an index of this file in Excel in 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes. And if you start typing all the things, you'll remember how much time it will take it up. If you're going for a bank audit, it can actually help you at that. All these things these are the tools. We have to think of how we are going to use it. So coming back to the forms, how my friends are using it, you'll be shocked to know that. They are using it for stock taking. When you have to do stock taking for multiple places, so what happens is you have to take the picture and all the evidences and all the thing. So one of my friend has got, taking stock taking for one of the banks. Some units were there, some 300 units where similar things are there. So what he's doing is, which is very interesting, he made one small form, gave it to all the people who were actually in that location. And what happens is they will go there, fill up the information, take the pictures, on their mobile phone, and all this information in a real time will come to him. And he doesn't have to even make a report format. Everything will be readily there and he can actually take that forward. That's like amazing use of technology which I've seen here. So friends, these are some of the areas which can add a lot of value to all of us. And my point is that, see the technology. You may come out with a better use of that. I remember once I was actually going from Delhi to Chandigarh by car when I was in Infosys, and we stop in one place halfway for having some snacks and food. And I remember what I saw there was the most shocking thing of my life. So we ordered some paratha and lassi. And when I went to get the lassi, what do I find? They were using a washing machine to make lassi. There's a brand new Whirlpool washing machine in which they were making lassi. The whole idea was they can't get a mixer so big to get the demand met. So they thought, okay, what is the best way of using it? They're not washing clothes and making lassi, all the thing and the same thing. It was actually exclusively for making lassi. So that's the kind of thing which happens. It's a human ingenuity. I'm sure you can come out with more better ideas than what I'm thinking of. I'm just giving you a kind of a guidance which you can actually work on. So I have around 5-6 minutes more. I will just, so how much time I have left? I think around 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes I will just take. I know we are already exceeded the time. So 10 minutes I'll actually try to wrap up the thing. And then we can take some question and answers. I would love to do that. So second thing which I would like you guys to do it, this is on the process automation client side. Now I'm actually I'm talking it from directly only from an SMP perspective. Okay, not from a large organizations. But what can we do here? See, please understand, our clients are also changing now with the businesses which are happening. Areas to try which are client focused, which I think you should actually start talking to them. And I have seen this. This is actually what happened with one of my friend who's a chartered accountant in Tirunelveli. He told me this one very interesting thing. So what he started doing is he went to one of his client where he was giving services of taxation only. But this client was in real estate, and you know what is happening in the real estate and all things. Now my friend actually started giving him that, can we do a data analysis of which are the calls which are coming to you and which are getting converted and which are not getting converted. Imagine he's a chartered accountant, and he's actually telling them that you are getting, let's say, 300 calls or 300 inquiry about your real estate projects. And out of 300, how many are getting converted and how many are not getting converted? And why are they not getting converted? And he was making for, middle class families. He was making apartments and all things. So when they did the data analysis, they found some very interesting thing. In the area where this guy is making, there was no inquiry, but there were people asking from other areas. And that led to this person advising to the client saying that, why don't you launch a project in that area? Because there is more demand coming in that area. So data analysis and giving it up, you can do amazing thing. And there are tools which are available. You know, what is the most interesting tool which everyone have and they don't even know that they have it? And I'm not talking about buying Tableau and all things. How many of you use Power BI from Microsoft? I'm sorry, let me close it. Power BI and Power Query. These two things along with Excel, you can start a new practice of giving advice to client that, hey, you know what? Give me your data and we will analyze. Who knows the client business better than us? As a chartered accountant, you know everything which is happening in the client business. Can't we have a new stream of revenue where we are also advising it? Yeah, it's possible. First time he may not pay us, but if we can show value and we can save money for him or create, additional revenue for him, I'm sure client is mostly more than happy to pay for it, right? This is a great area, and these tools are already there in your computers. Power BI and Power Query, you don't have to buy any license. Please start it. Maybe I would say, why don't we invest onto our people? 2020 has been a great year in both way, in bad way, on good way also. It is great year. It has been extreme, both sides. But this is a good time to refresh. Why can't we actually train our people and say, hey, please start using it. Try it. It will take a lot of time. It's not going to be easy. It's a mindset change. Process mining. Why I told you Power BI? Power BI is a visual thing. You can do a process mining. See how the process is working. Whether people are using, if I have actually designed a standard operating procedure for a client, whether they are using it or not, we can actually look into that. Business process reengineering. We can actually advise them in using technology. When we actually talk about so much of technology and we change our house, don't you think we can actually give these advices to our client and actually charge them for that? And the last one, which I would actually start doing it now, which is, I actually saw it because this service is being given by Deloitte for, large companies. It is called ERP assistance. They say that most of the companies don't know how to use their ERP like SAP and Oracle better. So we will go and teach them that. Now we can try doing this with other tools like Tally and all things that, hey, you know what, we will come and set it up for you. And instead of being reactive, that end of the year we go and meet them, your tally is all bad. Why don't we start spending some time at that? Usually what happens is CAs are busy only in a part of time of day, years. Instead of that, we can actually, stagger it up in such a way that most of the work is already done. We have set it up there. We have optimized the tally to an extent that it is no backdated entry can be done and all the things. And we have a proper controls on that. I would say that is going to be an amazing area to basically look into and take that forward. Okay. One more thing I would request you is go to this site called Nice. Why I'm telling you, I'm again not getting any commission from them or anything as such. They are giving free licenses of, what we call it as RPA tool, robotic process automation. Right now they are giving free licenses, and you can see, all this. Even our friends from Big Fours are using it. This is called robotic process automation, which you can actually do. You can see there's a study by Deloitte and other things. And there is a very interesting thing of this concept of robotic process automation. Now, this is one interesting thing which is there. I will not go into RPA because there are a lot of material which is available on our institute site. But I would really want to tell you two things. How many of you know that even Microsoft has an RPA and it is freely available right now? And you can use it for 3 months for free. And if you like it, you can actually use or pay something around, I'm just giving an example, not more than 30 rupees per month for using it. So this is a very interesting tool which can be used. It is called Microsoft Power Apps. All the Power Apps and Power Automate These are the things which are there, and a very interesting one. And okay, the question a lot of people will ask me is, Anand, where will you use it? You can use it, this one, in bank audit. You can use this in large reconciliation. In your GSTR, when our friend Venu was telling me he's using RPA to match all the GST credits. The tool has to be used. That as chartered accountant, we are very good. We know what the technology can do, but we need to be actually using it up. And let me tell you one thing. Nice, I'm just showing you just because they are right now free, and you can actually download a 1-year license, totally costing something around $3,000, which is worth it. And I would highly recommend you to do that. One more thing I'm just showing you, which our friends who are our article friends may not be happy with us, but I would request you to do this. Please install this softwares. These are actually tools for employee monitoring. And this is very good tool because now we have teams are becoming remote. Workforce productivity. And this is also a tool which is 3 licenses are totally free. You have to install it up. And actually, I was not aware of this. But once I became aware of that and we started seeing the value of that, oh my God, I was like shocked that, okay, who's working, how much time and all things. Yeah, there are some permissions you have to do, or you have to make a policy called AUP policy, because everything what the person is doing will be actually tracked. It will tell you that this person is productive for how many hours and what he's doing and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting tools. I would highly recommend you to basically use it. Paucity of time, I'm just going a little fast. Sorry for that. So new services. Okay, this one is something which I just thought you should be doing it. I've already shown you a couple of that thing. I think we can actually see every situation in either way. Everything has a 2 points, but think of it as a boon, because right now it has actually told people that you can be anywhere and do any work, which means that opens a lot of doors for SMP also. I can be in Ballari and I can do a service to any client anywhere in the world. Why not Bangalore? Why not Mumbai? Anywhere out there. So that's something which we need to think of. And please read this book, The World is Flat, because that will give you a kind of a very interesting, key that it doesn't matter where we are. The way we deliver the things, that's something which is important and it's coming out there. And collaboration is the key. But the last, slide which I want to talk about is this one, because I can keep on telling a lot, but it doesn't going to make any difference to me, because we need to have what we call it as a tech-enabled mindset. What we call as a tech-enabled mindset, which means you don't discount anything. We actually start with the KISS principle, which is keep it simple. There's a kind of thing, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Don't try to overdo things. Take small steps, incremental approach. Maybe this month you focus on HRMS. Next month you can focus on CRM, customer relationship management, which will tell how much each customer is doing, what is the money we're getting. And disruption is the key. It's going to be, there's a very interesting saying which I heard recently in one of the things, that every business is going to become digital, whether we like it or not. So why don't we take a stand on this and go forward? So friends, I'm sorry I was a little fast in my deliberation, but feel free, any question, any feedback, any query you may have, feel free. I can actually see the chat now. And if you have anything, I would more than happy to take it up. I have this Excel sheet with all the list. I'll share it with Ballari branch, and you can more than happy to go through it. MS To Do is freeware. So there is a question which is there from Raman sir. It is MS To Do is freeware, sir. You can actually use it, no charge to that. Okay, great. So there is no other questions. So any other questions, feel free. I'm more than happy to answer it.
There is a question, sir, here.
Yes, sir.
Any software or formats where we can get ideas to prepare better project reports, technical economic visibility reports?
Okay. Sorry. Can you repeat the question, sir?
Sir, any software or formats where we can get ideas to prepare better project reports, techno-economic viability reports?
Okay, I'll just want to show you 2 things if it is fine. So there's a question also from Krishna's digital dictation. So may I just share my other screen, because you are seeing my, let me stop this screen. Stop sharing. Okay, let me share you the other, because I'm using dual monitor, so sorry for that. 1 minute. Okay. So I was actually doing it. Now this is the screen I was working on. So there was the first question which was there, and let me minimize it, which was that how am I present? So when I present it up on my this one dictation, there is a concept called this one, toggle subtitles. So it will give my subtitles. So it will say whatever Anand is saying right now has to be typed out there, and that is what you see on the screen on the other side. Okay, so that is the way I'm doing dictation, and you can do this in here. Dictate is there in Office. You can work it out. Coming to someone asked me that how you can make it up. I think my simple suggestion is please get all your team member a proper PowerPoint training. No one use PowerPoint properly. Let me just give you one example. This is the slide which you can see here. Okay, how many of you know there's something called a design idea in PowerPoint? And I can just go there and it will just give me 15 to 30. This is design ideas, how I can change it up. When this looks better, I'm not doing anything. It is done by them. And the second thing which is there is add-ons which are there in PowerPoint. And my favorite one is this. I'll just show you. This is the add-ins which are there, and no one uses add-ins. Please start using this add-ins. Very famous add-in which is called pictures, called Pexels. So what does Pexel does? I'll just show you. So let's say I'm writing a something on questions, and I want a pictures on questions. So I'll just go here, and it gives me nice photographs out here. So it will just give me 1 minute. Pexel, and I'll work question. So it will just give me some pictures. I just click on that, click picture, and this picture will come here. If I'm actually doing a project, let's say I'm just giving it up. So I can actually see that I'm doing agriculture, or let's say manufacturing. You can make, see, let's make life, there's a lot of pictures. These are the things which you can use in your presentations. And once it comes here, you want to have design ideas, it can give you a design idea like this. So whatever I'm doing, it's actually being part and parcel of the thing. We have to make things there. And let me tell you, PowerPoint, we have made it compulsory right now. Before we actually have anyone join, they have to go through Office. No one use Office properly. That's a thing I'm just telling you. 90% of the people don't use any of the software to their fullest extent. So this is the challenge which we need to overcome. Let me just stop this. Okay, 1 minute. Stop sharing. So I'm go back. So that's the thing which is there. Sir, document management system for compiling it up, Jaikumar sir, you can do it in Word only. It is added. You have to add in Siren. Okay. And what I'm trying to say is, you were saying some software for doing. You can do it in Word, sir. Why do you have to have any software? You don't require softwares, to be honest. You just require to have a way of solving mindset. That I have this thing, I need to solve it up. That would help you also. Okay. So that's something which we need to look into. So this add-ins, you can just go and search for that and enter and do that. So document search thing which is there, you can do it in forms. Jaikumar sir, you can do it in other places, and we can take that forward. Okay. Any other questions, sirs, please? No. Okay. So great. It was good. Thanks a lot for the time. I think what I wanted to just convey with this one was, friends, we have to keep our eyes and ear open. There are a lot of things which are happening in this area. The thing is, there is one very interesting thing. I attended one session recently at Bangalore on strategic thinking, and they said that the only reason why some of the organizations are able to be better than other is only thinking different, thinking in a little different way, working it out and taking it forward. So as in the new world, we need to actually have more, I would say features added to that, more areas which can be done, it will add a lot of value. I'll just remember one person. I got one gentleman who is a valuation expert. And, around 1 year back, I was doing one session on Power BI at Delhi, and he attended the whole session of Power BI. And I said, you are a valuation expert and you work with all the things. Why do you want to come for Power BI? He said, you're not understanding. There are hundreds of valuation experts out there. The way I present my report, it differentiates what fees I can charge for them. The differentiating factors is very important. And as SMP, we need to understand that. We should actually be proud of being SMP and being able to add value out there. And today, technology enables us to be on par with any of the large organizations which is there. So that is something which we need to think of and take steps on that. So that's my submission, friends. So thank you very much for hearing me. I'm sorry between sitting with you and the puja and all of this, it's already 8 o'clock. So have a great Deepavali, enjoy, and wish you all the best. And I would request, please use some of the tools which I mentioned it. I'll be sharing the Excel sheet maybe with the Ballari branch. You can actually ask them, and that would be useful. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anandji. So here we end the today's program. I, Vinod Bagracha, Secretary of the Ballari branch, on behalf of the host Ballari branch and all the other branches, I heartfully thank our stalwarts, DC Jain sir, Central Council member Prasanna Kumar sir, our convener Pannaraj sir, CA Pampana sir, and all the chairmen of the branches and managing committee members for accepting our invitation and reporting their remarks. Sir. Special thanks to Speaker Anand Jangid sir and CA Chinnasamy Ganesan sir. In spite of a festive day, accepted our invitation. The commitment with which they are working for the development of our institute and profession. A heartful thanks to them. I also thank all the delegates for attending the virtual sub-regional conference. Thank you all. And I request all the members to join again for the tomorrow evening at 4:30 p.m. We have a very vibrant speaker, Guraj Acharya, and the topic is very important. That is reporting with reference to the accounting standards, ICDS and SAP, which is very important topic. After completion of our assignment, the reporting part is really very, very significant. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anand sir, Pannaraj here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure, sir.
I have not moved out from the chair. Definitely
thank you, sir.
I'll automate. I'll be completing 60 days after tomorrow. I'll be entering.
Oh, amazing, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And
I'll learn like a 16-year boy. Okay? I need your help.
Always, sir. Always there, sir.
Thank you very much, and wish you and your family a very happy Deepavali.
Happy Deepavali, sir.
Yes. Happy Deepavali. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For the real assets of the institute.
Yes.
Sir, thank you.
Definitely.
Close, Marana.
Thank you, Pannaraj sir. Pannaraj sir sitting for 3 hours. Really amazing.
Not left
More than 3 hours.
More than 3 hours. 4 hours almost.
Yeah, almost 4 hours.
Thank you.
4 o'clock.
4 to 8.
Yes, congratulations. Great note. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಂದಿ ಅಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. Stop recording.
Yeah, maximum there were more than 200, 225 I think maximum.
Yes.